All right, what's going on YouTube? What's going on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all platforms? Welcome to another episode of Giants Weekly. Special guest, Authentic in the building. Y'all say what's up to Authentic. We're gonna talk about some Giants today and get about this Cowboys game a little bit as well. But I'm gonna let Authentic out to introduce himself. You really don't need to, but for the people
I
who
feel you,
don't
bro.
know,
Appreciate
go
it.
ahead and introduce yourself to him, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I go by the name of Authentic for those that don't know. One half of the podcast, Authentic in the Beard, with my homie, the Beard, one time, Tim. Reside here in D.C. I'm a Giants fan that lives in D.C. on North Capitol, man. So I definitely get a different perspective out here, a different media perspective, different coverage out here and whatnot. But I'm pretty familiar with most of the people that are in your chats. I'm normally in the chat. I appreciate Big Pat having me pull up today so we could chop it up about some Giants talk and get into this Cowboys matchup coming up this Sunday at 4.
Okay, cool. So let's get into this Cowboys matchup because a lot of people are nervous about this game. I've been on different platforms, Cowboy platforms talking, Eagle platforms talking, and a lot of people got us getting beat down. A lot of people picking 38-7, 24-10. What do you think we can do against the Cowboys? Who do you think will win, and what do you think if we were to win? What do you think it would take for us to win, man?
Yeah, so I haven't gotten like crazy deep into the matchup yet. Just did the recap on Tuesday and whatnot. But the Cowboys do look impressive. I think they are a beatable team. We saw that opening day Thursday against the Bucks team that, they're the Super Bowl defending champions and whatnot, but they came out, you could see they were a little bit flat. Defensively right now, I want to say they're ranking towards the bottom of the league. You also saw the Cowboys going with the impressive win against the Chargers, which I got to watch that Washington matchup against the Chargers, really close. And that was a game where Washington found a way to limit them, and they made Justin Herbert struggle in the red zone a lot. Justin Herbert was 2 of 6 in the red zone. There was also a time when he was in the green zone around like the 30-some yard line. They also failed there where he had the it was kind of a fluke play. They called it a fumble, and I think the referees might have got that one wrong. But you're looking at a quarterback that was about 2 for 7 in the red zone. And the Cowboys go up there and they beat the Chargers. So for me, I like to look at the other matchups, especially within the division, with the Cowboys. I do. The defense is much improved, and I think that's why they're probably a scarier team this year. Also, the presence of Dak Prescott being back in the lineup, that's super major for them right there. But I think they're beatable, man. Right now, the defense is ranked really high. They're number 2 in takeaways in the league right now. They were number 1 entering last week. Trayvon Diggs, we know, is a major problem in that secondary. Seems to be a ball hawk. I'm looking for the Giants to come out here and try to take advantage of how aggressive a guy like Trayvon Diggs is in the secondary. And Micah Parsons as well on the edge. You got to take advantage of him being aggressive as well. Be very balanced with the RPO. One thing about the Cowboys is they're 27-0 when they rush more than they pass. So I think that we got to get an early lead in this game, force Dak Prescott to have to throw the ball, and also be able to control the clock. We've been seeing it with the Giants for pretty much 4 games straight, having troubles with the time management, not only from the coaches with the timeouts and things like that, but just controlling the clock and being able to sustain drives has been an issue for the Giants. I know we're underdogs in this game right now. I saw the line was Cowboys -7. I think that's about right. It's going to take a master game plan from Jason Garrett for starters, and also from Patrick Graham. I know everybody waiting on this defense to step it up because we're looking at our offense now starting to get things rolling, starting to get the ball rolling here. In the Saints game, had a couple touchdowns scoring from outside of the red zone. The big play with John Ross, we got to see more of that. And Saquon lining up in the as a wide receiver is an amazing thing. I like how he went back to Daniel Jones and Jason Garrett, told him that he saw something. And not Jason Garrett, Daniel Jones, he showed the out route real nicely, man. So you saw that cornerback kind of sit down just for a split second, and then Saquon Barkley's right behind him. I think they were in a cover 2 or cover 2 man in that scheme. So we definitely going to need the big play against Dallas offensively. But defensively, I think it starts with just limiting the big play. Do what you got to do to keep everything in front of you. We've seen Patrick Graham and his defense struggle in what we thought was going to be an upgrade from last season, bringing in Adoree Jackson to come in here and play a little bit more man-to-man style defense. But what's the biggest glaring problem here is that the defensive front is not getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So in return, you having these guys in the secondary having to cover a lot longer. I talked about this on my podcast on Tuesday, that I even saw a play there where Adoree Jackson was lined up on his normal side, the right side, well, maybe if you're playing quarterbacks, the left side there, and he ends up
Mm-hmm.
all the way on the other side of the field, where he's chasing his guy man to man. His man makes the catch almost on the other sideline, and having a lack of pass rush is where that's going to show up. We heard that even when Janoris Jenkins was on the squad just a couple years ago, where he was like, we
Right.
can't be back here covering them all day, and he called out the defensive front. And I think that's a very important thing. And I think the game plan starts by just limiting the big play, like I was saying. I don't think you got to like allow Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard to get their big chunk yards, but I think that it's better if they're going to be running the ball, keeping everything in front of you, rather than having guys like CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper peeling the cap off our defense and scoring on big plays quickly, because we know what that can do. If you can score quickly as an offense, and then in return the other offense is going 3 and out and not being able to sustain drives, that's really a recipe for victory for Cowboys, and it could get ugly real quick, like you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you say some good points there. I believe the main key for us to win this game, one of the main keys, is a pass rush. It's going to sound vanilla, but it's a pass rush and stop the run. Reason why I say stop the run is going to be very important, because Pollard, I believe that guy's having a Pro Bowl year so far.
Yeah.
And Zeke Elliott he's playing like Zeke again. So their run game is really churning right now. And so they're really calling run plays in this offense again. Where the Cowboys get in trouble is when they want to make Dak Aaron Rodgers. That's when they get in trouble. I don't care how many weapons he has. Dak is not that type of quarterback. To me, he's not. That's my opinion, and I'm not going to change my opinion on that. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but he's not that type of quarterback that could just put it in his hands and he'll take you to the promised land. He's not. He's always had a great offensive line, and they've always had a good running game behind him, and he's a leader, so he's going to control the game with what you give him. So that run game,
that's real.
Yeah, so that run game, if they're getting that run game off, and we have to put 8 to 9 men in the box, that's going to open up lanes for CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. I think Joe said Gallup might be out.
Gallup is I think Gallup's on the IR, but the kid who's been filling in for him, Cedric Wilson, rocking at number 1. He's a dynamite, exciting kind of player, man. And the thing about the Cowboys now is, like, if their defense is doing anything, then I think that the recipe of Dak Prescott throwing the ball can win them games. Now, the crazy thing about them is their last 2 games, I wanted to make sure I looked up the 2 scores, but the last 2 games with the Panthers and the Eagles, they've scored pretty much their most points of the season. They scored 36 against the Panthers. They scored 41 against the Eagles. And I'm not looking at the stats in front of me right now, but I remember both of those games are games where their running game really got clicking, And that's why I brought up that stat about them being 27-0 when they run more than they pass. So I 1,000% agree with you that, you do have to find a way to limit the run. And you made a good point about not putting 8 in the box. So the Giants got to find a way to limit the run without stacking the box, because if you stack that box, play action going to be a killer in that game.
Monster. And I don't believe we have the corners to stay with. We should have the corners to stay with them. Let me change that. We should have the corners to stay with them. But Adoree Jackson is not playing up to that contract, and Bradbury is coming along. But what's going to kill us is that slot. Who's going to stop those 2 tight ends, and who's going to stop CeeDee Lamb from killing us in the slot? Darnay Holmes is being benched every game.
Yeah, he's not seen the field much. And Peppers has been the guy you've seen a lot, taking on the tight ends and playing a lot of people in the slot. He's banged up this week. I'm looking for Julian Love to come out here and have a big game, step up. Shout out to my homie The Beard one time in the chat, too. He's a Notre Dame fan, and we know Julian Love is a Notre Dame alum. So I'm looking for Julian Love to step it up, man. It's going to have to be a team effort. The other thing we got to address here is the tackling from the Saints game was just pitiful. Got to step it up in the tackling. Giants had, I think it was 11 missed tackles in that game. that's not going to cut it against the Dallas Cowboys team.
8 of them came on Hill.
Yeah, maybe on 2 plays, right?
I mean, was that an anomaly, or is this what this defense is now? Have we become a finesse defense to where we don't want to put our nose in there and hit anymore, or was it just Taysom Hill's just that type of player?
Yeah, and I think that's the question mark right now with this defense, because Adoree Jackson brings in a better coverage kind of a aspect to our defense, to our secondary. But I think that some of the guys we even had last year were better tacklers. Isaac Yiadom, he didn't have problems tackling when running backs is coming out the backfield towards him.
Putting his head in there.
Yeah, and you see Adoree Jackson, even on the play that he got a little bit banged up on, it looked like that happened to him because of a little bit of hesitation. But I like Logan Ryan back there at safety. I think he's probably one of the most aggressive players on our defense right now, especially with Blake Martinez out. A lot of this boils down to the pass rush. Guys got to go out there and wreak havoc. Even if you're not getting the stats and getting the sacks, you got to find a way to just get, to the quarterback to just make him a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe we could force Dak Prescott into a couple turnovers. I know last time we played them, we had Fackrell had to pick 6 against them that kept us in the game. It seems to be there's always been high-scoring games with us the last couple of matchups with the Dallas Cowboys. And the Giants match up well. If you remember last game when Dak Prescott got the broken leg against us and whatever that was, week 5, something like that. He wasn't having a fantastic game before he went out. And then the backup ends up coming in and finish out the game. I think it was Andy Dalton that got the W for them there. He ended up getting hurt, I think, in that game as well. So, I like the matchup. I like what I'm seeing out of our run defense this season, too. If you look at the Denver Broncos game, we stopped the run pretty much throughout the whole game. And, late in that game, you had Melvin Gordon break that big run for like 70, 80 yards, which pads the stats a little bit.
They were tired.
They were looking tired, just trying to make the stop. Atlanta is another one that Mike Davis, Atlanta committed to the run, and Mike Davis had a pretty decent game. Cordell Patterson was definitely tough to stop. What I didn't like the call that Patrick Graham made late in that game when Atlanta got the ball back 14-14, he put Rodarius Williams out there, man-to-man on Cordell Patterson out there on that hitch route, and he takes that thing for like 30 yards, gets them set up. Kyle Pitts comes down, gets the little baby post corner, and they're kicking a field goal to win the game. But, I think the Giants are a much better team than the record shows. We're about a 2-2 team. I've seen people making videos talking about the Giants might be one of the worst teams in the league, and I think that's just completely false. It's just been a lack of execution, especially in the red zone for the Giants, which is why we're not putting up big numbers on the board, and a lack of just controlling the clock, controlling the ball, time of possession. Even in this game against New Orleans Saints on Sunday, the time of possession kind of evened out a little bit towards the end there. It was 37 minutes to 27 minutes in favor of the Saints. But you look at it in the first half, I want to say just early in the third quarter, it was like 30 minutes to 18 minutes. And then the Giants started to clean that up when the offense started to get things going. So, I'm one of the guys out here that, people that have been calling for Jason Garrett's job, I'm not one of those guys. I want to keep it 1,000 with y'all here. I'm not one of those guys. I look at a team, and I look at football as the ultimate team sport. A lot of things got to be clicking for a team to be good. And you see it against that New Orleans Saints defense that was coming to fell dating back to week 4 of last season. They are known to stop the run and also have good cornerbacks out there. And you saw Daniel Jones in this offense, especially with Kadarius Toney in the mix, Kenny Galladay out here doing his thing, Saquon Barkley in the passing game. We look like a totally different offense, but I don't think they changed that much. A lot of it just had to do with execution and just building a little chemistry, man. We've been waiting for that from Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, Kenny Galladay is a grown man. We got to get him the ball. I say get him get on the ball a little bit more. Give him an opportunity or a couple back shoulder throws. I believe we need to work that back shoulder. Daniel Jones can make any throw on the field. And
that's the one throw right there. The back shoulder throw is the one throw you don't see from Daniel Jones that much. They had an opportunity to do it in this game. I think it was Kenny Galladay, and he went up top, kind of tried to hit him on the high, seam route up top when the corner had leverage and had position. It would be a perfect time where you see a guy like Aaron Rodgers put that on the back shoulder.
And he turns around, jumps up and grab it, and puts his feet in bounds.
Yeah.
We have the talent on this offense to do anything we want to. Back shoulder throws, quick screens, running back screens, RPO. We can do anything we want with this offense, and that's why I believe this offense, towards the end of the year, if we get our act together, should be one of the top offenses in the league.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about a couple of players on this team, and I want you to tell me what does he bring and what should he be doing better.
Okay.
I'm going to say Dexter Lawrence. Give me your evaluation of Dexter Lawrence.
I like what Dexter Lawrence is doing right now. He had a pretty good bounce back game. Made a couple big plays against the Saints. The one, the offsides in the game against Washington is critical, man. And I was at that game. That's unfortunate not only for the players but for the fans. To be out there celebrating, going crazy, and then you look up and there's dirty laundry in the field. I think Dexter Lawrence is holding up well. He could probably be a little bit better against stopping the run and just taking on a couple more double teams so that guys like Leonard Williams can get to the passer. And we can, light the stats up with a couple of more sacks because you see it. Leonard Williams is out there just going crazy, but he's just not getting to the quarterback. I don't know if you saw the highlight reel that was put together by one of these Giants beat writers on Twitter. I mean, he's just wreaking havoc. He's all over the field, stopping the run, stopping, getting to the quarterback, but just not getting the actual stat and getting the sack. So I think Dexter Lawrence, we all know Dalvin Tomlinson last year was a big part of that. They were a great duo in the interior of our defense. So I think he could step it up there by just taking on a couple more double teams and maybe, just stepping it up a little bit more and stopping the run.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Nikki says, I feel like the Patriots could have got more for Gilmore than a 6th-round pick. Your thoughts? I think they could have, but I think Bill Belichick and Gilmore and that Patriots organization just wanted to split. I believe he's been injured too much, and he was already on IR, so it's kind of hard to get equal value for somebody that's on IR already. But I believe they could have still got like a 4th-round pick. But he went to the Panthers. The Panthers must believe they have a squad this year where they can make the playoffs because they are making some changes to that organization that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
He'll probably be ready as soon as we play them. I think we play them week 7 or week 8.
Yeah, and they say he'll be ready by week 6 from what I'm hearing.
So
and the reports about him were that he was going to be released last night. Somebody had said it in the chat. So I don't know what's going on, but it seems like they probably couldn't get top value for him, and that's why they ended up not releasing him and ended up taking the trade for the 6th-round pick. And Carolina, you hit it right on the head. They're looking to make a Super Bowl run. This is the second cornerback that they traded for this season.
Right.
I want to say they let go of their tight end to bring in a young boy.
The Henderson,
now they got Gilmore there
from Jaguars. He's a Gator.
Yeah.
The Panthers, man, as long as Sam Darnold plays within himself, they'll be all right. But I still think we can beat them. I'm not gonna lie to you, even with Gilmore over there. I like your evaluation of Dexter Lawrence. I want Dexter Lawrence to be a little bit stronger at the attack point.
Yeah,
that dude's an ox, but his attack point, he lets people get their hands on him too quick. I was looking at some replays, and I was looking at the defensive line, and the people that said Leonard Williams was playing like a beast are right. That dude's playing all over the field.
Yeah,
I believe we should run more stunts with him and Dexter Lawrence and let Lawrence clear out a guard and a tackle maybe, and let him come around and get to the quarterback like he did with Jameis on that 2nd and 14 right before we got the ball back to tie it up in overtime. They did a stunt right there. Finally. I don't know why we don't run more.
And we
stunts.
don't stun a lot. You're right about that. I don't know if it's a speed thing. I don't know if it's a scheme thing. I'm not too sure why we don't do a lot of stunts. It seems like a lot of the defenses in the NFL that are running 4-3 and hoping for 4 guys to get to the quarterback are the ones that are running more stunts. And Giants have seemed like even when we send a blitz, we can't get pressure on the quarterback, man. Right. So we got to do something.
So that's where stunts come into play. I keep telling everybody we're not a straightforward team. We have to finesse our pass rush. We just do. We don't have dogs at each edge. Ojulari, he's playing his heart out. He has 3 sacks in 4 games, but let's be real. He's not a top edge rusher right now in this point in his career. He's only a rookie. He still has to learn.
Yeah.
The X-Man and Lorenzo Carter have shown what they're about. The past 3 years, they've shown you what they're about. They've shown you what they can do.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say is Lorenzo Carter would be dynamite if we were running stunts and we were letting him blitz up through the middle.
Yeah, because he's the one guy who might have the speed to be able to run stunts like that.
He does have the speed. That dude has speed out this world. It's just that he doesn't have pass rush moves, and I don't think he's strong at the launch point. Yeah, that's what I call it. I don't know what regular offensive line call it, but that's what I call it, the launch point.
No, I know what you're talking about, though. It's like what you see out of Chase Young. As soon as the ball is snapped, Chase Young is right there. He trying to beat you to the edge or beat you inside quick, and he's a guy who's not getting to the passer this year either. But I think that's, a lot of fans just rely on those statistics, and you got to use your eyes sometimes, man. And when you're watching a broadcast on TV, it's very hard to stay concentrated on where the ball's going and also look at what's happening in the trenches, man. That's why you'll see me on Twitter asking about the trenches all the time. Like, yo, what did you see there? I'll holler at Bobby Skinner and go look at his breakdowns just to see what he's seeing, because I'm more focused on the skill positions. Like, I like focusing on wide receivers, cornerbacks, running backs, quarterbacks, and a little bit of linebackers. I'm more like not a trenches kind of guy.
Yeah, I try to look at both of them best as I can, but I tend to follow the skill positions a little bit more. Yep. But speaking of the trenches, let's get a little positive note in here. I think Andrew Thomas, I think this is what he is now, man. I think this dude's going to be a stud for the rest of the season. Yeah. Man, when I say his hand placement has got extremely better this year, he's actually switching his arm underneath defenders' arms, getting his hand in their chest. and he's stonewalling people so far this year. Well, what's your evaluation of Andrew Thomas, man?
You know, when you don't hear about an offensive lineman, that's when you know things are
Exactly.
going well. You know, and I think the mistakes that he was, dealing with in the preseason, especially against the Patriots game, that was when we saw our starters in full effect, pretty much. And he was getting beat a little bit. I forget who that outside edge rusher was that was giving him some problems. But I think it was good to have those mistakes early. Get those out the way. And now he's coming to the season. Dude's pretty much been a brick wall the whole time. Daniel Jones don't got nothing to worry about on that side. It's really just the other side of the line. We're struggling at right tackle, and a guy with Nate Solder, who I had a little bit of confidence in coming back, but he just seems to be like strength is a major issue. I mean, he got bullied 2 games in a row. We saw the one with Von Miller coming from outside of the screen, put him on his butt. And then the next week or 2 weeks after that against Atlanta, you see the exact same thing. Andrew Thomas is a guy, we're not hearing about those mistakes. If you pay attention to what I do on my channel with Authentic and the Beard, I've talked about a lot of the red zone problems boiling down to the offensive line. We had from the 7-yard line, we started off 1st and 10. You got Billy Price and Ben Bredeson, pretty much tumbling over each other on some Looney Tunes vibes, and then our quarterback gets sacked, he loses 11 yards, and now you're looking at you set up for like a 2nd and 20. It's hard to dig yourself out of those holes, especially when you're working with a short field in the red zone. Nate Solder, he had 2 sacks that he allowed in pivotal situations. One of them was on a game-winning drive against Atlanta when we were driving. Daniel Jones comes back from that 2-point conversion and where he runs over a defensive end, and I'm like, yo, we about to win this game. Daniel Jones is hyped up. We're driving. Kenny Galladay gets the defensive pass interference called on him, to push it to a 1st down, and then on 1st down, Nate Solder just allows a straight up sack, pushes us back 10 yards, and you can't dig yourself out of those holes, man. So for Andrew Thomas, man, love what I'm seeing out of him. Keep quiet. We don't want to hear nobody talking about him. And that's going to be a recipe for success for the rest of the season. The dude is looking to pan out, and I hope his boy Isaiah Wilson can figure out a way to get on the field next year, and hopefully get his head straight, because that dude's a mauler. We need help at right tackle, and I'm looking for the Giants to probably either make some trades with the draft stock that we have, or go into the draft, go get some guards out there. Matt Skura had a good game here, so pass protection is looking a lot better. I didn't hear too much about Nate Solder in this game against the Saints, so. Just continue to build on that. And I think that Andrew Thomas is setting the example for the rest of the guys on these line. To have a guy like that at the most toughest position on the line at left tackle, protecting the quarterback's blind side. Yeah, that he's leading the way. He's been a great example for the rest of them dudes.
Yeah, I mean, he's been dynamite this year. You haven't heard anything about him getting beat consistently this year.
Yeah.
The main thing that this offensive line needs, man, we need a right tackle. I believe we get just a solid right tackle. I believe Daniel Jones can expand even more. You see what he's doing when he just has that confidence in his left tackle to do what he's doing on the field right now. So imagine if he had confidence in both tackles. And I believe if your tackles are good, your guards and your center are going to come along.
That's true.
They're going to come along, because if you're not getting anything from your tackle, your guards and everything, they're worried about the tackle giving up something as well. But if you got 2 solid tackles, that inside of that line can fix itself.
Yeah, that's real.
That inside of that line can fix itself. So say if Skura stays on the team, say if Wilson comes, gets his head together and comes and wants to play football, he's a New York guy. Hopefully he's getting the support that he needs, because his mental health was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. He's probably one of the most problematic players I've seen in recent history. I mean, 1 year in and out of the league, they gave him that 2nd shot in Miami. This dude agreed to show up to the non-mandatory mini camps. When they see the practice start, he's not out there. They go look at his Instagram. He's on top of a car dancing, shooting a rap video. It's like, bro, I understand you a youngin, but at the end of the day, you're only going to be given a certain amount of opportunities before they just give up on you. So I hope that he's taking advantage of these last, pretty much Hail Mary kind of options that he got in a football career. And maybe the Giants could find a way to salvage his career, and maybe even move him to guard. He's a big kid.
Yeah,
and I hope he's looking at Andrew Thomas as an example. Yeah,
I don't think he can play tackle. I think you put him at guard right by Andrew Thomas.
That might be a vibe, man.
And they might have a connection that you just don't know. And
I see somebody, Mr. Nobody, talking about Saquon in the chat. Think about what a guy like that could do for the running game, man. He's 6'6", 350. I mean, come on.
Yeah, imagine if we had a good tackle and the guards actually shored up their run blocking, and now you got Saquon Barkley with big holes.
Yeah.
And now he can burst out of there, hit you for 30 or 40 yards real quick. And now our play action RPOs are even more effective than what they are now. We really don't have a running game to speak of. I'm just going to tell the truth.
Yeah.
We really don't have a running game to speak of, but our play action is still pulling people up.
Yeah, and I forget who that there was a coach or a coordinator who was talking about that in college. To be effective with play action, you don't necessarily have to be running the ball great. He just talked about running the ball just shows that you're going to be there for a physical approach, and sometimes you just got to do that to open up the play action. It just is what it is. And I mean, with Saquon Barkley, I know a lot of the narrative around the internet and around YouTube and things like that is that he's dancing in the backfield and whatnot and all that. But here's the thing: like when you watch him play, just listen to the crowd when Saquon Barkley get a hole. They see it before he sees it. I was at the Washington game when he broke the big 40-yard run. As soon as he got the handoff and the crowd saw the hole, it erupted. A lot of Giants fans were in the stands at that Washington game, and you just hear it. I mean, the crowd will tell you when he has holes. I'll keep it funky with you because when he get to the line of scrimmage and there's nobody in the backfield giving him any problems, Saquon Barkley going to make the people in the second level miss.
Right. And just like that run, I'm going to be real with you. Price really gave up the play to the linebacker on that run. It's just that Saquon Barkley made a couple of jukes and he got in there.
Oh, yeah, you talking about on the 7-yard touchdown run
on the touchdown run to end the game.
Yeah.
That's the next play I'm going to get to. Billy Price. I don't really have too much hope for the guy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
This guy falls over his own feet. He chooses the wrong people to block half the time. Do you believe it's more coaching? Do you believe it's just him? Or why is he having such issues when it comes to run blocking, especially? Pass blocking, he does decent, but I don't believe he has the strength to go against big defensive tackles, big hosses. Let me know what you think about him, man.
I mean, from the limited, time I've seen from him in just a couple of games, I don't know if it's on the coaching or if it's really on him, but I know that he's a guy that, we pretty much scooped him up right before we're about to enter the season pretty much here. Not a lot of experience with this system, so I can give him a little bit of pass, and I'll give him a push on this one to, be able to see what he can do in a couple of more weeks, because even on the play where he fell down after he snapped the ball and allowed Daniel Jones to get sacked for that 11-yard loss or whatever that was, It almost looked like a little bit of uncertainty, like just not knowing where to go. So I can give him a little bit more time in the passing game. Like you said, man, he's been pretty quiet. Daniel Jones has been pretty clean all year. They're saying it's 2.5 seconds to throw the ball. He's getting the ball out quicker. Daniel Jones looks to be more confident. So I think that helps everybody on the O-line in the passing game already. Everybody on the O-line got to figure out a way to run block better. And I can't say that that's on the coaching, because we know Jason Garrett coming from the Dallas Cowboys scheme, I know they had some big boys over there, but they never had no problem running the ball. They've always had good running backs, good offensive line, and it's always shown in their scheme that it works. So, I mean, if they have faith in these players to have a guy like Billy Price out there playing center, I'm all for it, and I'm looking to just see him, have a little bit more growth throughout the season and just get better. That's what Logan Ryan talked about in the press conference after week 2 is like, we're not going to change much. We just got to go out here and work at what we're doing, stick to the script, and get better week by week. We've seen that with the New York Giants. I don't know if you remember when we signed, I think it was Patrick Omamah, mid-season,
Omamah.
and there was another dude we signed too, Brown, I believe it was.
Yep.
And you saw after week 8, that offensive line completely transformed that year. We started winning some games. So I could see them getting better, and I'll give them the shot. Right now, man, we paper thin at offensive line with Nick Gates going out with the broken leg. Will Hernandez hasn't really had, that type of career that Giants fans thought he was going to have after the rookie season with Saquon Barkley. So I'm being patient, and I'm seeing what the coaches and the GM is going to do here when it comes time to really get the guys that we need on that offensive line.
Exactly. Shout out to Ray from VA. I think you're brand new to the chat. Thank you for tuning in. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. And I need one of my moderators to put everybody's link in the chat, because everybody has channels that's in the chat right now. He said, when will Isaiah Wilson play? I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't expect him to play much this season, if at all. Like we said, man, he was a head case. He has to lose a lot of weight. I believe he came to us around about 400 pounds. They want him to lose about 50 pounds, 50 to 60 pounds. He has a lot of work to do, and there's no question about it. But if he puts in the work, we can see him on the field next year full time. I believe he has that talent. You look at his Georgia film, he was an absolute mauler, and he was dominant
He
at
was.
right tackle at Georgia. I believe he's best fit for a guard, and he's on the practice squad. I believe he's protected, so I don't see him playing this year. He has to get back into football shape. Remember, this guy hasn't played football about 2 years.
Yeah.
He hasn't played football in about 2 years. I don't
And
know if he's
yeah,
got.
even last season with the Titans, he was only on the field for like 5 or 6 snaps, and half of them was like when they was kneeling the ball out.
Yeah. So this guy has a lot of work. I'm a realist. I'm a Giants fan. I'm a realist. I know who the guy was, but come on, when you have those type of issues and you got those he has weight issues, he has mental issues, he
Yeah.
might have financial issues right now. Who knows what those contracts meant when he messed up with 2 teams? Who knows? I just think this guy needs to just get in this program, go to that facility every day, work his ass off, and I believe he'll be on this field starting for us next year. I
Yeah.
truly believe so.
Yeah, he's got a lot to prove, man. He's coming out of the trenches right now, coming out the mud, trying to get back, in good graces with the league, and then also with our
Right.
team here. He's got a lot to prove. I saw him warming up, in practice the other day. The dude could barely lift up his legs. You could tell he's just completely out of shape. So yeah, they gonna have him in there trying to get him right, and they'll see. Maybe by week 8, week 9, if he's able to get out there and get on the field, and we might have to force him because we're very paper thin at the offensive line. Another
Mm-hmm.
person get hurt, that means somebody gonna have to come up and do something, or we got to go out there and sign somebody. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think we'll see him this year.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think this guy, he has to impress a lot of people before he can even touch a football field again.
Yeah,
When you mess up that bad, he's lucky he's a New York guy, and we needed linemen at the time because he did tryouts before, and everybody told him you got to lose weight before we even sign you to the practice squad.
yeah,
So he's very lucky to be on our practice squad right now.
yeah. That's
Like
real.
I said, I hope he gets his mental health together because I'm all about that. I'm all about people getting their second chance and at life to do whatever that it is for them blessed to do it. And he's blessed to play offensive line, but he just has to get his act together.
Yeah,
And that's just blank period. Another guy I want to talk about, Xavier McKinney. Now this guy, he's silent. I see he has the hustle.
yeah.
But do you think he's learning his safety role at a pace that he's supposed to be learning it at, being that he was a second round pick?
Yeah, I think he's doing a good job of excelling and starting to learn this system a little bit more. And having a guy like Logan Ryan there to really be a teacher for you is a great thing for a kid like that. And slow start, man. He was banged up the first season. I don't think we saw him until about week 11. He was on IR for most of the year. So you're looking at a guy who pretty much missed his whole rookie season. I like what I see out of him. I thought he was going to be more of a force and a hitter when it came to stopping the run and coming up and making tackles, where it kind of seems that might be one of his issues. But he kind of looks like he's a little underweight too, to be out there to be a really hard hitting safety. So I think with a little bit more time in the NFL, he'll probably bulk up a little bit. And yeah, Logan Ryan is just the perfect guy to be around, to learn those kind of little nuances of the game that make these safeties actually be a lot better and being able to read these wide receivers running vertical down the field. But I mean, you're not seeing no glaring issues with him. You're not seeing him getting burnt crazy down the field or nothing like that. So I think that's a good thing. He kind of was thrust out there to be a young guy to really start making an impact on a defense that everybody thought was going to be top 5 defense this year.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was overhyped from last season, man. I've been hammering the point from last season that we played a lot of bad quarterbacks last season, a lot of backup quarterbacks. And I got a lot of these quarterbacks on my mind with Brandon Allen. You had Kyle Allen with the Washington football team. You had Alex Smith with the Washington football team, and that was 2 of our wins last season. You had Carson Wentz, who y'all can see it right now as a Colt, ain't looking that great. Andy Dalton, Mitchell Trubisky, Ben Roethlisberger. We didn't face good quarterbacks last season, and everybody want to say, oh, well, we shut out Russell Wilson and whatnot. But yeah, that was one game, and we definitely schemed up to do it right there. You saw a lot of gang tackling and a lot of people hawking towards the ball on our defense. And when the first guy would miss on Russell Wilson, the second guy would make the tackle. So for me, I didn't look at this defense like, yeah, they was going to be top 5. I kind of fell for the bait real early when we signed Adoree Jackson. And then I started doing some more research. I wanted to look at who we played up against. And, man, you look at them quarterbacks we've gone up against. The talent was not good. And now we're going up against guys who are like, people on the come up. I know a lot of people like to downplay Taylor Heineke in the Giants community, but that dude is a baller. You saw it on Sunday against the Falcons. The Giants got to see it firsthand. Game-winning drive. He's got 2 game-winning drives in 5 games. People still sleeping on him. He's a gamer. He's got great pocket awareness. Teddy Bridgewater's another one that I picked us to lose the Broncos game straight up because of Teddy Bridgewater. I looked at some tape from Mark Schofield where he was breaking down why Teddy Bridgewater got the starting job over Drew Lock. And some of the throws he made were just ridiculous. It's kind of like how you seeing Saquon put it together now in the last game where you look at that knee and you go, yeah, Saquon's knee ain't a problem. And same thing with Teddy Bridgewater. He's playing on a confident leg now. And, I'd look for Teddy Bridgewater to be a guy who's going to be, middle of the pack, maybe top 15 type quarterback if he can stay healthy. He got a concussion in this last game. So that's the only thing I think with Teddy Bridgewater is staying healthy. But yeah, and even a guy like Jameis Winston, when you got a little pairing of a guy like Taysom Hill right there, it's hard to scheme against guys like that. And people looking at Jameis Winston like, he might be a guy who's a game manager nowadays. But Jameis Winston is one of only 6 quarterbacks to ever throw for 5,000 yards. So he can sling it. And the guys that he's up there with, are top-notch quarterbacks. Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. Who else was on? Dan Marino's on that list. Tom Brady had one.
Has Aaron Rodgers ever did it, or did
I think Aaron Rodgers might have did it one time. He might be the 6th name that was on it. Drew Brees did it 3 times.
Yeah.
So I think Jameis Winston is a guy who can sling it. I feel like if the Saints would have put the ball more in his hands in that game, we might have came up with the L there. He was about I think it was 18 to 23 on the day. So he's found a way to really take care of the ball.
That's what I'm thinking about. Diggy's right.
Matthew Stafford
did it, and that's another quarterback we're gonna have to face this year. So I mean, a lot of people. I'm one of them. A lot of people bashed you for saying what you said about what you just said last year with the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But it's starting to show fruition. I just think this defense had a lot more heart last year. I think this defense was a lot more together last year, and they believed in themselves more last year. And I believe that's why we stopped the people that we did, because you're in the NFL for a reason. So you can only play against your opponent that's out there.
Yeah, and I'm one to be like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? We had a lot of success last season in the zone. And I know we brought in a guy who could cover better, but I don't think that should have meant early on in the season just migrate to doing more man-to-man stuff, especially after I think it was week 2 is when you really started to see more man-to-man coverage. I'm all for keeping things in front of us. You just got to step up and stop people on 3rd downs, and that's been a major difference this year with that defense, like you're talking about, being aggressive and making those stops on 3rd down. In 2020, the Giants was a bend, don't break defense. Same thing with Washington football team. Me and the Beard, we always talk about this. Washington football team was a bend, don't break defense. They allow you to get close. Then you get down to that red zone. They make stops, and they make stops on 3rd down. And this season, you're seeing it, man. I like right off the bat in this last game, we stopped them on 3rd down, and I'm like, oh, here we go. This defense about to ball out. You see a flag on the field. I forget who it was. I think it might have been Rodarius Williams or somebody.
Yep.
They get the flag, and it's happening too much. They got to find a way to correct that, and I'm looking at Patrick Graham for that. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like with the coaching staff, Jason Garrett is not the guy we need to be looking at as far as what the problems are. A lot of problems have been execution on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, it just seems like guys are out of position, and I got to put a little bit of that on Patrick Graham, but also put some of it on the players. Get yourself in position and make these tackles. We're missing tackles, but run defense has been pretty decent, so it's not much to correct on the defensive side of the ball. You just got to figure out a way to make stops.
Yeah, we're not making the crucial stops like we were last year. Just like last year, we made crucial stops against the Seahawks and the Bengals to win the game when they were trying to drive to win the game. We stopped them. This year, 2 times we didn't stop them, and that's what our record shows. Yep. We gave the game to the football team.
Yeah, we really did.
All sides on the field goal. That's crazy.
Yeah, and offensively against Washington, you got to look at the 3 plays that we had in the red zone when we were down by, I believe it was 1 point in that game. You look at the 2 runs to Saquon, and this is why I commend the coaching staff. We get down there against the New Orleans Saints there in overtime. We didn't change anything up. 1st down, we going to Barkley. He scores the touchdown. That's what we would have hoped would have happened in the game against Washington. But then you get to a point where now we're at the 3rd down. You get to 3rd and 7, and I thought it was a good route by Sterling Shepard. He's pretty open on it. The corner's on his hip for sure. If Daniel Jones could get that ball on his front number, we might be looking at a 2-2 team right now.
Right, because I believe he gets it in front of Shepard. He gets the 1st down. He could just easily just move
Yeah.
dived and get the first down
Yeah, it
right
might
there.
have been a touchdown, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm overlooking the Darius Slayton drop either. I mean, that was major in that
Yeah,
game.
that was horrible.
Yeah, that was horrible, and Daniel Jones puts a good ball out there. I thought, if you had to rate that pass, that's about a good B minus. Wide receivers need to catch those kind of passes. And a lot of people I saw on Twitter were comparing it to the catch that Hollywood had this past Sunday with the post route from Lamar Jackson. But you also can't forget that Hollywood had them 3 or 4 big drops the week before.
Right.
So he was probably looking to clean that up himself. And he said, "I'm gonna do everything I got to do to get to this ball."
He dropped that one. He might have been on the bench. I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's facts, bro.
He dropped like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he
maybe
did, bro.
3 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I could do that for you, Lamar.
Facts. I'm looking at that Slayton one like, bro, I'm bringing that one in. I don't know if I got the speed to get to that one, but I'm bringing that one in.
Man, if I had Slayton speed right there, I'm diving for it, and I'm hitting my whole stomach. I might be out of breath in the end zone, but I caught it.
Facts.
But speaking of discipline, Joe Judge came. Let's be real. Joe Judge came to the Giants. He said he preached fundamentals. He preached discipline. Why has this team been so undisciplined through the first half of the season?
I really got no answer for that.
Quarter of the season.
I got no answer for that. The one good thing is we saw a little bit of cleanup. Against New Orleans, we only had 3 penalties. I don't know for how many yards, but I know the first game was 9. Against Washington, it was 11. And then I want to say against Atlanta, it was 8 penalties. So, at least we're progressing forward and we're getting better. But last year, that wasn't an issue. Giants weren't an undisciplined team last year.
Right.
And to see that this year is, this is interesting, to see us, a coach who's preaching discipline. And the players are consistently making bonehead plays and jumping off sides. And when I think about discipline and mental strength, I don't just think about the penalties. I think about key situations like who is going to step up and make these plays when it's time to make the plays. Now, if you look at that Atlanta game when Daniel Jones goes in for the 2-point conversion, I mean, it's hella missed blocks. He just took it upon himself to say, I'm going to get in the end zone. Even Saquon Barkley over there just sitting to the side waiting for Daniel to make a play after he faked the run. Guys just got to have the urgency, and I don't think it's an effort thing. I never question the effort of NFL players, but it can be urgency, of just like, hey, this right here is a big play. Do everything you got to do to not jump off sides. Don't be that guy. You don't want to be the guy when they go back to look at film that it's you who jumped off sides. And we saw that in the Washington game, man. There was a possession there early on in the game where we're knocking on the door of the red zone. You get an offsides penalty from Andrew Thomas on the left side. We line right back up. They get an offsides penalty on the right side from Nate Solder. We had a play where we were in our own territory against Atlanta. And it's funny because everybody was pissed off about the punt from the 39-yard line. This one happened when Atlanta punted from their own 40, or from the Giants' 40, pinned us back on about our own 4-yard line. We get down to 3rd down. Joe Judge calls a timeout when the play clock's running out, which that's a bonehead mistake. You should just take the penalty when you're on your own 5-yard line, half the distance to the goal. You barely lose any yards. But then you come out the timeout and you get another penalty. It's like those kind of things can't happen in the NFL, especially with a team that is bringing in new pieces, trying to find a way to put themselves in the next tier of the NFL. And push to a team that's with a winning record. Maybe we're in the top half of the league. Last season at 6-10, a lot of people got hyped up because we did end the season pretty strong. Impressive win against Dallas when everything was on the line, at least for a team that thought they could maybe get in before the Philadelphia Eagles tanked. But yeah, discipline, man. That's on a lot of that is on players because coaches can only hammer that so much. Coaches can only place emphasis on that so much in practice. These are grown men. They got to go out there and get the job done.
And I'm glad you always bring that up. Discipline plays like that, penalties. 99% of that is on the players.
Yeah.
Those coaches can't go out there and tell those guys not to false start and not know the snap count and not know the plays or getting illegal substitution penalties, what we got last week, but we overcame it.
Yeah.
We got to stop that, man.
Yeah, that's got to come to an end. And the Saints games are good. They showed you in the Saints game a lot more discipline,
Yeah, they did. I'll give them credit for that. They did. Yep. We stopped getting penalties in crucial situations. But we're getting to the point where our offense could actually overcome things like that.
Yeah.
Because of the emergence of Andrew Thomas. I think Skura is going to be played pretty well for us down the stretch.
I do too, man. And if you look at execution and discipline, right? Look at how the Giants got in position to get the W in this game with the delay of game that the Saints got late in the game when we were down by 3 on 2nd and 9. and then it ended up pushing them back to 2nd and 14, and that's an easier stop for the defense. Giants get the stop there. We come down, we drive down the field, get the field goal, and then we're in overtime. You know the rest. Jabril Peppers, coin toss, touchdown. You know.
Right. Jabril Peppers showed the spunk that this team actually needs to succeed. Even though his play hasn't been up there, that guy's one of the most energized guys on this team, and we need people like that.
Yeah, that's real, man. I always talked about this for the past couple shows too. You know, just camaraderie, man, and having a good time, because football is meant to be fun. When football is fun, you can win games. And I noticed the first 2 to 3 weeks, you weren't seeing a lot of Saquon Barkley, you know, dapping people up and high-fiving with cats like Kenny Galladay and things like that. And I always bring it back to the season of 2018 where, yeah, we were 5-11 that season, but that was a fun year. Odell Beckham and Saquon Barkley was having a lot of fun scoring touchdowns from a bunch of different ways, like reverse passes from Odell to Saquon. There was a lot of dancing. And I looked at the sights and sounds from this game actually today from the Saints matchup that we had. And, yo, you saw that, man? Like, yo, Saquon Barkley's on the bench. Kenny Galladay's coming up, like, making sure to be like, yo, giving dap. You're hearing a lot of expletives, a lot of cursing. That tells me that these guys are passionate and they want to win, you know?
And even if you didn't hear the sight, see or hear the sights and sounds, that play when Saquon Barkley scored, he ran up to Daniel Jones.
Right back.
I've been waiting for that all year. Like, y'all need to get in tune with each other. Y'all need to believe in each other.
Facts.
And they really believed that Saints game. When they made that stop on 3rd down, the team started to believe. And guess what? You won.
Yeah. And I thought that when Saquon was saying, you know, belief in the system, I thought he was talking to the players. That, you know, when I came to a conclusion about that, a lot of people were like, oh, he's speaking right to Jason Garrett, you know, that we don't have belief in the scheme, kind of hinting towards like saying it. But I thought maybe he was saying that towards the players, you know, like, yo, we got to go out here every day and believe.
He might have been, because let's give credit when credit is due. Jason Garrett has Daniel Jones looking pretty doggone good right now.
I mean, Daniel Jones is in control of this offense. I saw somebody in the chat earlier talking about what we thought about his pocket presence now throughout the first 4 games. It's been impeccable. It's been immaculate. I've loved it. You know, this is looking like a kid who's really got a control of this offense. You know, the Atlanta game was one of the games where I felt like, I don't know if the crowd was like less into it or if the production of the broadcast had less of the crowd in the broadcast, but I could hear the cadences at the line like so perfect in my studio for that Atlanta game. And Daniel Jones was just all over it, man. He's really got a grip on this offense. And it kind of goes back to what you were saying about Andrew Thomas. Now, Daniel Jones really only got a peek to that right side. If you look at it, he's not even looking over that shoulder.
He's not even looking at the left side. He's not. And last year, you could see it. He was looking at both sides last year. He's like, I'm going to get killed by one of these tackles. But now he has the confidence of this left side where Andrew Thomas is like, okay, I'm good over here.
Yeah,
if I do get hit, it's a surprise to me. Now he's looking at Nate Solder, and every time Nate Solder misses, he steps up and gets out the pocket. So he's reading the whole offense based on what Nate Solder is doing. So imagine if he didn't have to look at Nate Solder like that. Maybe if we had somebody else right there, that now he knows both his tackle positions are good. Now he's focused on the middle.
Yeah.
So when Billy Price or somebody does something,
like just locked in right now, man. He just locked in. Like it seemed like, and I don't know what was the difference in this. Maybe it was Kadarius Toney, you know, being implemented in the lineup too. But the separation between the wide receivers, man, it was just every throw is like people were wide open. And I love that concept they ran late in the game. You know, in overtime with the little route that they ran to Kenny Galladay. I mean, it just freed him up so perfect that there's no way the defense could play that play. Somebody gonna get open on that. So, you know, I'm giving big props to Jason Garrett, man. And I've been on that. Since week 1, I've been like, just be patient. People are forgetting that Saquon Barkley didn't get many snaps in this Jason Garrett system in 2020. He was only out there for 2.5 games or whatever it was. And now he's just still trying to implement himself and get adjusted to it. I think that Jason Garrett's also getting adjusted to what Saquon Barkley can do. We saw it in that game against the Saints, man. Like, Saquon Barkley is deadly in the pass game, and the screen game is just ridiculous.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, Kadarius Toney, Kenny Galladay, and I'm gonna give you one more name, John Ross. I believe those are our X factors.
Definitely.
And with the emergence of John, I'm not gonna say emergence. It was only one game.
Yeah.
But with the chance of the emergence of John Ross, Sterling Shepard, Slayton, Do you want them back on the field?
Oh, Sterling Shepard is 1,000% a guy that got to be on the field. And you just got to find a way to get all of these guys on the field. I even think Darius Slayton is a guy that you could put him out there on the edge, and him and John Ross could do some of the similar things. John Ross though just seems like he's just sharper in and out of the cuts when he's running. I don't know
Man,
if you saw that route.
comeback route,
that comeback was ridiculous,
was
man.
nasty.
And look,
you gave
I
him
said
2
that
hitches.
on somebody's stream, right? Whose stream was that? Oh, I was on I wasn't on the stream, but I was in the chat with Tim from Online Big Blue, who he one of my favorite content creators out here, because he's one that's saying that, like, Jason Garrett is going to be the sacrificial lamb for the problems that Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge are actually presenting for the Giants. But when I was in there, I was like, yo, John Ross looks like a guy that could actually be helping out Kadarius Toney with the route running, because they both have similar skill sets. They're super quick, super fast, get out of the cuts really quick. And they were saying that John Ross is known to be a bad route runner. And I didn't really focus on John Ross too much in Cincinnati. But when I saw that comeback, I was like, wow, bro, that was a route.
The route, what route running is with John Ross, you see that he can run the slant very well because you have to worry about his speed. So I expect to see some sluggos with him.
Yeah.
In mid-season. The comeback route, I believe, is going to be there 75 to 80% of the time because his speed factor.
Yeah.
You got to know how to use John Ross. His routes are not bad at all. His routes are actually pretty crisp when you look at the routes that you want him to run. I want him on 9 routes was basically a fly. I'm running on comeback routes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I want him on slants. I want him on digs, and I want him on deep post.
Yeah, deep post, single safety high could definitely be a
if you got a single safety high with John Ross, I'm putting him on a post immediately.
Yeah.
And then that's when I got Galladay coming back on a deep dig, or I can run a quick screen with Kadarius Toney. Man, we got so many avenues we can go with this offense. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to put up 24 to 28 points a game.
You're right, and it's going to boil down to execution. These guys, when you see Evan Ingram catch a ball and fumble it, those things, we got to get rid of those things, And the one pass I'll give Evan Ingram, okay, you're about to be on a team that the offense is about to excel. The one thing I'll give him a pass on is that he just getting back. Daniel Jones fumbled in his first game, and I was looking at Daniel Jones crazy too. Like, here we go again, right, when he fumbled against the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
But Evan Ingram's not going to get many more chances, but he is a mismatch for defenses. But, also another route that I want to see out of John Ross that I think could be very effective around the goal line is the Z out, because he's going to be very effective on slants while you're trying to press and get down to the red zone. So once you get down there, I don't know if you saw this is a new route that I saw for the first time. The route that Baker Mayfield missed Odell Beckham on in the game. Did you see that one around the red zone?
That route was nasty.
That route was nasty.
I don't know how he missed Odell Beckham right there.
I don't know how he missed. Baker and Odell just don't got chemistry. He missed him on another fly route where Odell Beckham was 5 yards wide open. He just missed him to the wrong shoulder. Just an awful throw.
You can see the frustration of Odell. I believe they're going to get rid of Odell.
I like that too. He was so blown when he missed the throw. But yeah, I could see routes like that for Kadarius Toney. And then, I don't know if you remember when Odell Beckham was a killer with the comeback route. What up, Miz? My man Miz in the building one time. But when Odell used to kill that comeback, right, they would have this route where Odell would run the comeback, right, and right when he would show his hands, he would bail out to the 9. And I could see John Ross doing routes like that too, and just mixing it up, man, and just killing them deep like he did in this game. I saw Joel was talking about, hopefully he doesn't get back to getting a case of the drops. But I think a lot of that's going to be on Jason Garrett to be scheming them up, give them easy catches, because when you're a wide receiver, it's about rhythm. You get 2 or 3, 4 in a row, you ain't even thinking about the hands no more.
You sure not. And I think he was just having a tough time over there in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
When you have a case of the drops, you do have to worry about him getting a case of the drops. But I need people like Shepard to, when he does drop a pass, to get in his ear, be like, come on, man, you're better than that, like he did with Toney. Although me and Joe were doing the show, we know why Toney dropped that ball. He was gassed.
And it was a hot one. I played wide receiver, and I prided myself on hands. I had really, really good hands when I played in high school. When they come on you hot throws like that, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not even a mental error. It's just you just let up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just putting a bad spot sometimes for you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that throw from Daniel was on target pretty well. It was a little extended, little out on him, but you know, Daniel will do that. He'll put the pass on you hot like that, and you got
Right.
to find a way.
So Miz, I see
Yeah,
you
what's
in the
going
chat,
on,
man.
guys? It's good to see you guys doing this together, man. This is good stuff.
Hey, my man Miz in the building, man. Good to see you, bro.
I'm all right, man. Everything's all
Miz,
right.
what do you think? What do
That's
you
what's
think
up.
we're gonna do against these Cowboys, man? Give me what you think we can do against the
It's
Cowboys.
hard. If you saw my video earlier today, I basically didn't want to give a prediction, but I tell you, my heart says we could go down there and win this game. But you know when your heart says something and your mind tells you the truth, and the truth doesn't match your heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a tough game to go win. I can't just tell you, oh, we're gonna go down there and beat. I gotta give my respect right now. Dallas is a top 5 team in the NFL right now, man. There's no doubt
Ooh,
about
okay.
it. You
Oh,
know,
you
and
said
they're
top
clicking.
5?
Yeah, they're clicking on some. They're clicking on a few different levels, man. That makes Dallas real. You know,
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
feel you.
be honest, man. And I thought that in the summer, I predicted them to win the division. I thought we would get the wild card. There's no reason why that still can't happen. Dallas is a good team, man. And if we could go down there and steal a win this week, it could tell you a lot about the Giants.
Yeah.
You want me to tell you something about the Cowboys? And I think they have a chink in their armor that hasn't been exposed yet. It's their cornerbacks. I believe people are throwing in that Trayvon Diggs, thinking that he's still the same Trayvon Diggs from last year, and he's not. He's developed. You don't have to go at Trayvon Diggs against this defense. For one, the middle of the field is wide open. I have
Yeah.
no faith in their safeties. That slot cornerback from that they drafted is not ready yet, and that other cornerback, number 30, that they have on the other side is not ready for our receivers. I believe Kadarius Toney has a 100-yard game this week because they use Micah Parsons as a blitzer on third downs or obvious passing downs. They just got rid of Jalen Smith. Van Der Esch doesn't play coverage that well. Keanu Neal, sorry, he's not going to be able to keep up with any of our slot receivers. I don't care who's out there. So I believe our offense is going to move the ball against this team. It's about us converting in the red zone. If we go out there and put up touchdowns instead of field goals, I believe this team will start to fear us.
Yeah.
I really believe that, to be honest with you. That's the chink in the Dallas Cowboys team. Their offense, CeeDee Lamb has a case of the drops.
Yeah, and he, you know, dating even back to last season, the reason why we ended up beating them in that last game, I don't know if y'all remember the last drive, the Cowboys had the ball. CeeDee Lamb dropped that third down that really sealed the game for the Giants.
Right. And I believe Marcus Pollard is a better running back than Zeke right now.
Or Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't
Marcus
know.
Pollard.
I don't know.
I'm thinking of tight end.
Different styles, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I believe his style fits them extremely well.
Yeah.
The way he runs the ball, and the reason why it fits them extremely well is because he runs the ball hard. He's not a scat back. He's a bruiser that can be a scat back. And I believe when he's on the field, they're more dynamic. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
I can agree with the dynamic portion of it, but you know, it kind of reminds me of Brandon Jacobs and Amon Bradshaw. Why we had so much success with them is because a big bruiser running back, when you get to that fourth quarter, they literally wear you down.
Yes.
And then you bring in a guy like Pollard, you know, when you're worn down, you've been getting beat up. Now you got to keep up with the speed. For me, it's all about the switch of pace and just keeping defenses off balance with the two-style running backs. And look, if you follow me on Twitter, I've been talking about this on Twitter a lot, and a lot of people have been trying to clown this, that I think that one of the most slept on things about the Giants offense right now is that our running back 2 is very average. If we had a running back 2 that was something like a style of Ezekiel Elliott, then you could do so much more with a Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon Barkley is kind of like a 2.0 of a Tony Pollard, if you think about it. He's a guy that can kill you in the passing game. He's very electric when he's in the backfield. He can make cuts and make the big play, the big run, right? But we don't got that bruiser that's going to wear down a defense, which it seems like Jason Garrett needs that in the offense. Somebody that you could just run right between the tackles that'll wear down the defense, and then third, fourth quarter, Saquon Barkley's doing damage. I've been talking about it for 2 years that we've been using Saquon Barkley the wrong way. He needs to be treated like how they treat Alvin Kamara with the Saints over there.
Exactly.
You know? And that'd be the recipe of success for us.
I'm gonna tell you a guy that I wanted us to get before we got Booker. I wanted us to get Latavius Murray.
Oh, that would have been a great pickup. Yeah. Definitely.
I
talked about Adrian Peterson. I
see
Mr. Nobody saying that right now in the chat too. You know, a lot of people think Adrian Peterson is gassed, but I'm in the Washington, D.C. market. I got to watch every game that he played. that
He
dude
still had a
still
little
had
bit of
gas in the
juice.
tank.
He still had a little bit of juice.
Yeah.
And I believe he'll be better than Booker right now. I'll be real with you. He can catch the ball out the backfield. Adrian Peterson has done that throughout his career.
For sure.
He might not have the superhuman explosiveness that he used to have back in his career, but I believe he's more explosive than Booker is right now. Shoot, Booker got a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
A healthy scratch.
Yeah, that's random.
And Joe, you look like you wanted to say something. Go ahead and say something, Joe.
Oh man, just being on the panel, man. Pat, thanks for putting me on, talking to Authentic, Miz, and you.
Hey, up,
this is
I'm
grateful for this.
This is star-studded.
Man, y'all the originals.
What
man.
I'm going to say, the key to the game is if Barkley in our first series can rip off a couple 8, 9, 10-yard runs, that's going to open up the RPO and the play action pass, because that defense is going to have to draw down to stop Barkley. Micah Parsons, former Penn State guy. Saquon Barkley, former Penn State guy. You know these two are going to be rubbing each other the whole game. I think Parsons might be a little bit too aggressive, and that might let Daniel, with that RPO working and the play action, if we can keep that defense on their heels, that might be the key to the whole game right there.
Yeah.
What you got to say about that Authentic, and then I'll chime in.
I mean, I agree with most of that right there. I mean, really, it's just limiting the Cowboys to scoring a bunch of points, because we know that our offense, we're not that 35-point kind of offense. We right around that 25, 30 range. I think if we could score that many points on offense and just limit them on defense, this is more of an important game for the defense than it is for the offense. They're going to have to go out there and limit the Cowboys to putting up points on the board, however you got to do it. Right now, it seems like teams aren't holding the Cowboys to a lot of field goals, so that means that they're either scoring in the red zone or they're scoring before they get to the red zone. And as far as the RPO goes, I think you got to be weary about it. You know, you got Micah Parsons over there who really shut down Jalen Hurts in that Eagles matchup, and the RPO was looking crazy. I can remember one of the plays where Jalen Hurts kept it and ran to the left. Micah Parsons was right on him the whole way, got him right out of bounds, slammed him to the ground, and the Eagles kind of fell away from that in their game plan. The Eagles only ran the ball to running backs 3 times when they played the Cowboys. That's not the way to beat the Cowboys. So I definitely agree with you about Saquon Barkley getting going early, or whoever it's going to be. I'm one that says, Gary Brightwell might need to see a couple more touches as well too, because a fresh Saquon Barkley is better. I know that.
I want to say that's a very good plan. I think we'll be able to run the ball a little bit better against them now. Now that they got rid of Jalen Smith, you got Micah Parsons in there. Yes, I understand that he's a beast. But who are the other linebackers? Van Der Esch can be very, very undisciplined.
Yeah.
Keanu Neal's not a bruiser that's going to go in there and hit a lineman and stop a run.
Yeah, and teams are running a lot more nickel these years, this season.
Cox,
so
Jabril
two
Cox ain't
linebackers
gonna do
is
that
enough.
for you. Jabril Cox ain't gonna do that for you. Dexter Lawrence is out. Not Dexter Lawrence, but what's the boy over there?
DeMarcus
Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's out. I believe we can run it against this team. I believe we should do a lot more RPOs this game, because I believe those RPOs is going to let Saquon break one. And if they get undisciplined, Daniel Jones has enough speed to get out there and make you pay. And
I'm just very weary about the RPO. I think it could be something where you're utilizing Kadarius Toney with quick touches. We did a lot of West Coast style vibes against the Saints. Short passes that turn into almost like their running plays. And that's what the West Coast offense is predicated on.
Right.
So I'm looking at the hitch routes, the little quick hitters, them little quick slants. Motioning Kadarius Toney into the backfield even and doing things with him like that. If you're going to run RPO, there was that one time that we ran it with Saquon Barkley and Kadarius Toney motioning, and it didn't gain us that many yards, but it seems like Jason Garrett hasn't gone back to it that much this year. But I'd look to see a lot more of that. Like, show that jet sweep, but don't give it to Kadarius Toney. You might be able to open up some things with some linebackers trying to cheat a little bit and stay over the top with Kadarius Toney, and you get some runs for Saquon Barkley out there. But I am weary about the RPO for 2 reasons, because Parsons out there on the edge, and also Daniel Jones getting hurt. I don't think Daniel Jones is the kind of guy that you want to see completely running RPO every game, because he's not that quick. Daniel Jones is a fast runner for sure, but he don't get to that top speed that fast. He got to get the wheels going a little bit. And this Cowboys defense, man, they're predicated on takeaways and turnovers. That's how they've been winning their games. But teams are still putting 24 points on the board on them. We got to limit them to points, so that I saw Diggy say 32 might be the magic number. And I think he's right on that. Like if we get somewhere in that 25 to 35 range and force the Cowboys to throw the ball, because I talked about this before Miz and Joel came on here. They're 27-0 when they run the ball more than they pass the ball. So it's important to get them to pass the ball more than they run the ball in this game. Don't allow them to put up 245 rushing yards like they did last week in that game. That's a recipe for disaster, because you're going to see Daniel Jones on the sideline like we saw in that game against the Broncos, where there was an hour of time where our offense was not on the field.
Exactly.
That's how that play to Barkley got opened up, is because they saw that earlier, and Lattimore was sitting on Ingram because Ingram's in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone expects us to go to Ingram when he's in the game, and these guys are starting to figure this offense out. It's really starting to click. I just keep rerunning everything over my head. And the more I talk with it, everybody, it's like, because Barkley and Jones got together and they said, look, if this happens again, let's watch for this. And sure enough, Lattimore sat on it. Barkley went right by him. Hello, there's, quick 6.
Yep.
So I got a question for the panel. Diggy, if you want to join in on the panel, you can. I'll put the link back in the chat if you got time. We'd love to have you on the show. Mr. Nobody, thank you for coming in and showing some love. Who do we get our pass rush from this game? Who do you believe is going to step up and get a little bit of pass rush this game? Do we run more stunts this game? Do you have faith in Patrick Graham to run more stunts with Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams this game? But who do we get our pass rush from this game? Y'all pick a player. Y'all let me know. Y'all pick a player who you think is going to step up for us.
Now, I've already hopped on a guy that I'd like to see them play more. You guys know I've been talking about him this week. I think it's time to put Carter Coughlin back on the edge, because he's that blue collar. He's sort of a dog, man. And I think that he had some plays where, that stick out in our memory from last year. So I think that they need to stick him back out there, because we don't have a lot out there right now. So why not give him another shot? And I don't know, man, because Lorenzo Carter is just not – I've waited for him for years, and I was really big on him for this year, and I'm not seeing it. You got to dial up a little you're going to have to get creative this week. You're going to have to come up with a blitz here and there. You're going to have to – if you don't force the issue – you're saying don't let Dallas run the ball all over us. I'm more worried about him going deep on us, I'll be honest. But this is why we brought these two corners here and paid them money for a game like this.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you want to contain gap discipline, are you going to be running twists and stunts? I've been the guy that's been hollering for them, okay? I need more twists and stunts, but we're talking third down here and long when we know they're in a passing, play. Bring your linebackers down, run a twist to cover for the run, but they're still back, because you got that 5-yard cushion between the first down marker and the linebacker. We expect them to make a solid tackle, which is something else that has to happen. But first and second down, I don't really expect to see a lot of twists or stunts or stuff like that that's going to get to the passer. It might be just contain Dak and get him nervous. He does have a tendency to get out when he gets nervous.
Yeah, you definitely took what I was going to say right there. I almost can't pick a player, because I think it's going to just be a group effort. Can't forget, Dak Prescott got some wheels, man. You got to contain him. So if nothing's open downfield and you have an aggressive pass rush, let's say from the outside, from the edges, Dak Prescott going to step up and get 8 on you every time. So I think this is exactly what Joel just said right there. You got to have gap discipline when you're trying to follow Dak Prescott around. The Giants have shown that they can stop the run for the most part without stacking the box. So I'm looking for us to really be able to contain the run, but with just the regular amount in the box, just 7 down, and be able to have more people on the back end there, and a little bit more nickel coverage here to be able to match up with the weapons that they have, because the Cowboys probably got the best weapons in the NFC East right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna piggyback on what.
Pass rush.
I'm gonna piggyback off you guys. Dak Prescott. I'm always going to say he's probably the best game manager in the game right now, the best game manager, and he can make plays with his legs. And if you let him make plays with his arm, he can do that too. So I'll give him a top 10, top 12 quarterback in this league. But I've seen him play against us and play against other teams where if you get any type of pressure on this guy and you don't allow him to step up and run out the pocket, he looks like a average quarterback at best. So what we're going to need is I want to see Lorenzo Carter blitz from the middle. When we try to blitz them, I want to see Lorenzo Carter blitz from the middle. Reason why? I believe he's faster than what that one guard is. What's his name? Williams. I can't. Jonah. What's his name? Jonah Williams. I think that's their guard.
I'd have to.
That's the weak point on their offensive line. Him. Lyle Collins is not playing right now. He's on a suspension. But that Williams guy, whoever he's going against, I want to see
Williams. Connor Williams.
Connor Williams. There you go.
Yeah, he's at left guard.
Left guard. I want to see us trying to manipulate him because he's the weakest on that line by far. You're not gonna get too much on the tackles and the other guards because they're solid. But that Connor Williams guy, he's not strong at the point of attack. He's like a Billy Price to me, and he gets beat. And then Biotis, the center, he's not solid either. I believe those two guys right there, if we could get pressure up the middle of the field on Dak Prescott, because we got the speed on the edge to be able to keep him from running on the edge and getting major yards. Like somebody said in the chat, Azeez Ojulari, yeah. I believe if he plays gap discipline and play discipline on that and hold the edge the whole game, I believe we can stop them. Not completely. I still think even if we play our best defensive game, they still put up 20 to 24 points.
Yeah,
because they're just that good of an offense.
That's how we did last season. Was a lot of pressure right from the middle. They'll force quarterbacks to roll out, and Dak Prescott's not a fantastic quarterback throwing on the run, you know. So I think it'll keep them off balance a little bit, having Dak Prescott throwing from the hashes instead of being right down the pike throwing, you know, to cats like CeeDee Lamb running these crossing routes. Because the Cowboys, that's where they kill people. Amari Cooper doing his damage out there outside the hash, but most of them are just going on crossing routes, just beating defensive backs and just getting the edge, and then bam, you know, you got an easy completion and a bunch of yak.
But I would love to the chat. I would love to see Carter Coughlin in there. What you got to lose?
Yeah, I feel like something's wrong. You know, like there's he should have been on the field already, and I think he would have been on the field already. But I feel like there's just something not right, maybe.
You think he may be hurt, or you think
maybe an injury, maybe it's a scheme thing, or I really can't put my finger on it, but it's strange to me that a guy who was pretty effective last season is like literally getting no PT this year.
No play time. You're giving Reggie Ragland more play time than him.
Yeah, which he had to step in that middle linebacker role, and I think he's doing a decent job stopping the run too.
Yeah, Reggie Ragland stops the run, but he's not chasing anything as far as a screen or a quick slant. He has no speed to get over there. I would like to see Carter Coughlin in on third downs. Let him come in on third down and passing situations where you know they got to pass. Yeah. Let him use that motor and try to grab somebody. I mean, last year he was pretty good doing that. I hate that Cam Brown was hurt because I think Cam Brown would be better than what Lorenzo Carter and them are doing on the edge. I'll be honest with you. And
Lorenzo Carter is doing some decent things, but it's just he's not getting to the edge fast enough. It goes back to what you were saying about off the line, you know? That first initial couple steps off the line. He's not beating tackles, which is interesting because he's a faster kind of guy. You know?
Exactly. And so he's not utilizing his best strength.
Yeah.
And when you got guys that can't utilize their best strength, that's what happens. That's why I want to see him blitz from the middle. Because in the middle, you're going straight forward. You don't have to worry about a tackle or anything. You're going straight forward. And
you just got to worry about that running back coming up trying to plug you. And
I think he can get past the running back. I think he can get past the running back. Because Zeke is not that great of a blocker. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh no, I disagree with you there.
Yeah,
because I think in the first two games, if you look at the games where Zeke was struggling, just go back and look at his pass blocking in that game. He was laying people down, bro.
Yep.
I don't think he's like the best pass blocker in the world, but I wouldn't say he's a bad pass blocker.
They played Tampa Bay the first game. So who was coming in there? Was it White or was it
who they got? I got Vita Vea on there. They got they got Pierre Paul
JPP.
on the edge.
They got the defensive ends too. They got a lot, man.
They got a lot. Their front is one of the best in the leagues, but their secondary is kind of whack.
Yeah, when they blitz, they was probably sending secondary people out there because I highly doubt he would be able to block a Pierre Paul.
Well,
Zeke's a bull. Zeke's a bull.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like that's where he's got the one up on Tony Pollard too, is in the pass protection game. He's much better. And in a lot of those games, I'm telling you, where he was struggling, go back, look at them highlights, man. He's stepping up. He looking like a lineman himself. He's not even looking like a running back.
I have to go watch that because I remember last year he was getting beat pretty good. when it came to pass blocking, and he was fumbling a lot. He's
He
cleared up
definitely
his
had fumbling
fumbles
issues.
too. He's cleared up his
I'll
fumbles
tell you
too.
something else that you better watch with Dallas, man. And I hope the Giants coaching staff sees it because I've seen it. On a 3rd and long, they like to run the ball. So don't think on 3rd down that they're going to automatically throw. They may set up the throw, but then they run it. And they've been catching defenses by surprise. You're going to see it. Maybe it may not see it this week, but I've seen it a lot in the last game or two. So it's like 3rd and 6, and you think they're throwing, and then they run the ball, and they still pick up the first. You know,
definitely got to watch out for that.
And if I remember, something like the Giants used to do that years ago when they had that good offensive line. They used to do that also, on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. They would hit Tiki or Bradshaw, whoever it was,
Yeah, with the shotgun draws. We tried it in this past game with Saquon
in the building.
That's called smart coaching, So when you're built like Dallas, and trust me, it makes me sick to say this, but when you're built like Dallas and they can run and throw right now, they pretty much can. They can play offense both ways. You could run on a throwing down. You could throw on a running. They could pretty much mix it up whenever they want.
Yeah, fans are not gonna like it when you don't get the yards because I saw it in the Saints game. There was a long 3rd down that we ran a handoff to Saquon Barkley, and everybody was upset about it. But yeah, you can keep teams off balance when you can run the ball in 3rd, a little bit longer, 3rd manageable for sure.
Exactly.
By the way, there was a play this Sunday. I just wanted to throw it out to you guys. I'm pretty sure you all know. Pat definitely knows. There was a play this Sunday with their option offense that the Giants run where Kadarius Toney dropped a quick slant over the middle. He would have been gone to the house.
He would have.
Hey, the only guy in front of him was a safety, and he was about 22 yards away. There was no way he was going to be able to close the gap on him with the way he cuts left and right. So look for that play again.
Definitely.
I believe Kadarius Toney can have a very big game this week coming up because I don't know anybody on the Dallas Cowboys defense that can stop us from going over the middle of the field, especially if we give them a balanced attack. I believe we should start off running. I'm not saying run it at every play, but I believe we should start out running, test that defensive line out, test those linebackers out, see how tough they're going to play. And then after your scripted plays, that's when you start working in your scheme.
Yeah.
So I really believe this. It could be a shootout. I'm just gonna be real with you. It could be a shootout, and our defense is gonna have to step up because if we give up 30 to 35 points, I believe we lose every time. Yeah, I believe we lose every time.
You don't want to go into a shootout with this team.
Yeah,
Not a shootout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of those semi shootouts where there's some dead time during the game. You know what I mean? Like that.
And you don't want to be winning a 28-24 or 32-27, something like that. But if it's a straight shootout, Dallas is going to win every time.
No.
Every time.
Yeah, you may want to go into the shootout like we did with the Saints. You might want to open up the air attack in the last 12 minutes of the game. But the first 3 quarters of the game, you want this game to be a drag out. It was sort of like that with the Saints for the first half. The longer we could keep Dallas at a low score, the better the game favors us at the end. I really believe that.
Well,
I would tell you something about that too, Miz. If we play the way we played against the Saints, we lose. I'm telling you that now because if we get down there in the red zone and we don't score, this team with any momentum on offense, say we go down there, we get 3 points, then come back and stop them on 3 and out and go back down and score 3 points again, beat up 6-0. It only takes 1 touchdown for them to be up. And then they got the momentum again. They say we start going 3 and outs, and they keep scoring.
And if you look at the Saints game, we scored first in that game with the big play to John Ross, but then we started to lose the time of possession battle critically. So for me, with the especially chopping it up with y'all here and hearing everything that y'all got to say, because I haven't really came to my conclusion of a score or anything like that or a real prediction. But I think really the key to this game is to get an early lead. If you can go up like 10-0, 14-0, score on your first 2 drives, then you're going to force them to pass the ball. We can start looking at the RPO possibly and get the running game clicking a little bit more, try to control the clock for that first half. And most importantly, we cannot allow them to score with just a few minutes left in the first half, man. We did that last season with them. The Giants have had problems closing out the halves and closing out fourth quarters pretty much for the whole season this year. They were 29th in the league as far as points with the second quarter and the fourth quarter. So for me, it's like defensively, you got to clean it up. Don't allow Dak Prescott to get those cheap kind of points like Matt Ryan did, where we pretty much dominated the whole first half, didn't score in the red zone, got 2 field goals. They come down at the last 4 minutes left in the second quarter, get a touchdown, and now they're looking at a lead going into the locker room. That cannot happen. We got to dominate the first half and get an early lead in this game. And I think if we get the lead at halftime, we'll force them to throw the ball in the second half, and I think that's that recipe to get them to lose that game.
Well, here's the thing that I'm looking at is we've seen improvement each week and every week. And if we continue to see improvement next week like we saw last week, there's no reason why we should not be at least in this game. You know, we might not win it, but, you know, we only had 3 penalties last week. We looked, you know, okay starting to run the ball. And then the second quarter, it was almost like DJ just kept going out there and balling, and everyone's stepping up. It's like, yo, I can't sit back no more. Look at my quarterback. Look at the guy on the field that's leading this team. He's done this 3 weeks in a row now. Yep. You know, and Barkley just took off, and then he started working on everybody. And it was just like, everything, all of a sudden, you just saw that momentum and that click and the confidence and the heart. We weren't seeing just effort. We were seeing heart. We were seeing a team that went out there. It reminded me of the 90s or 80s Giants. Refused to lose. We're not going to lose this game no matter what.
Yeah.
Well, if we can improve like we did last week, there's no reason why we shouldn't be in this game or win this game. But I'm still not forgiving them for the first 3 weeks. I can't do that. You know, they're still in the hole in my opinion. But this Dallas game, this is our Super Bowl. You really think about it?
Right, an early Super Bowl for us right now. Because if you lose this game, you go to 1-4. It's going to be tough to climb out of that. I know Miz got us at a wild card. I had us as the division leader with 9 wins when I first picked my my win prediction for the season. And yeah, you know, you go down 1-4. That wild card is starting to look way farther out, and y'all know this schedule about to get extra brutal.
You're right, because the Rams ain't no punks, Carolina ain't no punks, Tampa Bay, Kansas City,
Raiders,
Chargers.
Chargers coming up
Miami
late.
might be the worst team out of the teams I just said.
Yeah,
and the Bears. And then we got division games. So besides Miami and the Bears in division, and Dallas looks like they're the top team in the league. So really, besides the Eagles twice, Washington football team, the Bears and the Dolphins, it don't look good. I'll be real with you. It don't
strength
look good
in that schedule is crazy. And Washington's looking at a similar situation, man. Like, I was looking at their schedule. They could lose 9 straight games, man. There's so many difficult games they got coming up right here, man. The Saints being probably the easier one, and they got the Packers on top of all those other teams that we play. They still got to play Raiders, Bucks, Kansas City, you know, and on top of that, the Packers. I mean, that it's going to be very tough for them as well, too. So I think, you know, we'll be in the same kind of race that they are, trying to see where can the Giants get these surprise wins, you know, because we got to – this Cowboys game seems like probably one of the more winnable games coming up out of the next 3 or 4.
Right. And I'll be honest with you, if we had a pass rush, I'll be singing a totally different tune.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a consistent pass rush, we really don't have a pass rush at all, really.
Yeah.
All
our
these
defense
teams
is in struggle mode right now, man.
All these teams can burn us down. All of them. Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Dak, Brady, Mahomes.
Yeah.
My boy Herbert over there with the Chargers. Like, you're facing the cream of the crop.
And that's why the defense is not looking as good. I mean, I'm hoping they can find a way to fix it. But, man, it goes back to what I was telling you about the quarterbacks we were looking at last season. Now we're looking at all A1 type quarterbacks for a long stretch here. You know, these ain't backups like we was facing last season.
So, yeah, you definitely right about that. We're facing a top 10 quarterback. Quarterback just about every week.
Yep.
We are facing the hardest schedule from here on out right now. This is number 1. I mean, the winning percentage is what? 0.729 or something like it's an ungodly number.
Right. And so we're probably facing just about every playoff team that's going to be in the playoffs this year.
And moving forward, we really got to take care of those games that we're supposed to win. You know, that Bears game, I'm looking at it like right now we got to go out here and sweep the Eagles. You know that we got to take, and we owe it to them from everything that happened last season.
Right.
In Washington, we got to take care of them the last week of the year and whatnot. Dallas is probably another team too that we got to at least split with them, and somehow find a way to maybe win a surprise game there. Maybe we surprise the Raiders. Maybe we surprise the Panthers. I think seeing how we play against Dallas on Sunday is going to really dictate how we could go into Carolina and play against them, and maybe compete with them, because right now that defense is looking legit. They just made that move for Gilmore. I mean, it's looking pretty crazy. They're gonna who's the rookie over there that just got hurt who broke the foot? J.C. Horn.
Yeah, J.C. Horn.
They're going to get him back at some point late in the season probably too, so they're a team I think that's going to make a run. They're poised to really make a run for the playoffs for sure.
I hope so, G Nation. 6-game win streak. I don't see it, but
Ooh, that's a
we
bold
looked
one.
at the schedule in the summer. We looked at the last 4 games. Like if we were going to make a late season run, it was the last 4 that we could win. You had the 2 games before that with Miami and the Chargers. Now let's be real. We could look for a split there, maybe get the Miami game. The Chargers are proven to be a real good team. So to go out there and beat them, you'd be asking too much. Plus, we don't even have a good history against the Chargers, to be honest with you.
Right.
So you get the Miami game, who looks very shaky.
Six
you go down to
wins
Miami,
is
you're basically going to have a
unrealistic.
home game. Half that stadium are going to be New York Giant fans in Miami.
Right.
So that's a little bit of an advantage also. You want a major steal in this season? Monday night against Tampa. Circle that game. The Giants always get up for Brady, and they're not going to forget last year's game.
And
Yeah,
then,
played them well
Sherman,
last year too.
Richard Sherman might be their best DB that night, so who knows? We might be able to pull one out.
You guys thought a win last week got this fan base hyped. If we win Sunday,
yeah,
there's going to be some serious hype going on then.
If we can win Sunday, that gives me a lot of hope, because if we can compete with the Cowboys, we can compete with anybody.
Nah, I can't give you that one right there, because the Cowboys right now, I still think are a team that's on the fringe. They look like a playoff team right now, but as far as them being a Super Bowl contender, I'm not going to go there with them. And I just think that the next streak of games is just too crazy. To see 6 wins, that means you're going to come out of the bye and beat Tampa Bay. You got to beat Derek Carr and the Raiders, who've been balling out. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, there's no way that you got to hope to 500 would be ridiculous right now looking at those 6 games if you think about it. So I would bet all the money I got that the Giants wouldn't win 6 straight here. There's no way. There's no way. We're going to lose one of these games.
The Rams. Who we play after the Rams?
After the Rams, you got Carolina Panthers, then you got Kansas City Chiefs, then you got the Las Vegas Raiders, then you get the bye, and then you got Tampa Bay. Those are the next 6 games.
There you go. So you're right, man. If the Giants could go 3-3, that would actually be real good.
I'll be blessed if they go 3-3.
Right. If we could go 3-3 and go out the first 10 games 4-6. With our division and the Chargers and the Dolphins left, we could get to 9 wins.
Yeah, so you go 3-3, then you're going to be 1 game after the bye. You be 4-6.
Listen, I'm not that big on like you guys. I'm not that big on Carolina Raiders. We could beat those teams. If you got to get a split in these next 2. Bottom line,
I'm in agreement with you there, Miz. Because of those 6 games, Carolina is probably the weaker of the team with the Raiders. They're the more like, I don't think we're a better team than them right now, but they're the matchups that I feel like we could and maybe should win if we're going to get some wins out of this next streak of 6 games. But the Rams are looking like they're a Super Bowl team right now.
Oh, yeah.
The Bucs are defending champions, and the Kansas City Chiefs are defending AFC champions. So those are the games I'm looking at. Like, I don't want to say they're guaranteed losses. This is the NFL. We just shocked the Saints for sure. But, yeah, those are some really good teams over there, improving teams.
No, but if we can beat Dallas, and then we can go into the Chiefs and the Bucs and play them tough and lose like the Giants always lose by a field goal with 2 seconds left. I mean,
you get destroyed in Kansas City.
We're not expected to beat those teams anyway.
I'll set you up right now. I don't want to hear none of your positive stuff. Kansas City's going to destroy us. You go right there.
Yeah. I mean, the game that the Eagles just played against the Kansas City Chiefs, that was a shootout style type game where the Eagles scored over 30 points. I think they scored exactly 30 points in that game. Jalen Hurts, if you go look at the box stats, the stats were ridiculous. He rushed for like 65 yards. He had over 300 yards passing. His completion percentage was on point. No interceptions. And they they still got dogged. The Chiefs are just a different beast.
Yeah.
I mean, and now they're starting to catch their momentum. I know people might be looking at them like, oh, they had a slow start with the 1-2 start, but they had 6 turnovers in 2 of those games. The Chiefs ain't a team I'm looking at as a W right now. There's no way.
She's a go roll off.
Well, no, but I don't think we're going to get.
Solo
We're not
says,
going to
how
go
are
roll
those,
off 9 in a row.
smoked by them.
he says, how are those teams going to stop Daniel Jones and all our weapons? Look at it like that for a moment. We've seen them match up physically pretty well with the Rams last year.
You're in a whole nother world
not
when you're
this
in
team.
Arrowhead. You're in a whole nother world in Arrowhead. Trust me, that's like one of these rare places, man.
I
This
don't
my guy.
believe
You need to shoot me some winning lottery numbers if you can predict the future like that. I'd really
I'll predict
appreciate it.
I predicted to you. We talk about it that night. We're going to Kansas City, man. Just chalk that up as an L right now today. So,
Yeah, like I don't even think it's comparable to the lottery because, man, this is David versus Goliath, and there's only one story that went
What's
that
up,
way.
Nate?
Listen, that's why they play the game. Any team
sure.
can beat any other team on any given day. 1% chance is a chance.
What you're saying right now, that's more towards the Tampa game. I think we could go there and play them and beat them. We match up with them better. We just do.
Joe,
Facts.
I just don't think we match up well
I'm
with
not-
the Kansas City
hey,
Chiefs.
And I
right
know
now
Joel
with the way
will
our
be very
defense is
optimistic.
playing.
Joel had us starting off 3-0 the season. I remember he had us at
Yeah,
10-6.
I did.
I know
I
you're
said
optimistic.
12-5.
I mean,
I
Joe
was
had
like
us
that last
13
year a
and
little
3.
bit.
I
But
did not have us
here's the thing
13
about
and 3. That's only 16
12.
games, man.
12 and whatever it was.
Yeah, so this is what I want to say. Like, here's the thing about any team can win on any Sunday,
good that
right?
Joe's positive.
Yeah, that's true, right? But not a bad team that can beat a bunch of good teams every Sunday. That's the difference between that. It's like, yeah, you might be able to sneak a win out of one of these good teams. Maybe you sneak a win against Tampa Bay. Maybe you sneak a win against Carolina or the Raiders, who are, to me, on fire right now. Derek Carr is very slept on. Played a good primetime matchup there against the Chargers and lost to a tough team that had lost the game to the Dallas Cowboys that they were furious. They had to go out there and get a dub. But you can't look at every week thinking, any given Sunday. You can't think like that. This Giants defense is pitiful right now. They're pitiful. Let's keep it 100.
And I wasn't
the defense is
counting on
not
that.
good. I saw the homie saying, how are they going to stop Daniel Jones and all these weapons? They might not even have to. They might be able to allow Daniel Jones and all these weapons to go down here and score all the time and still put up more points on the board. The Giants have struggled in the red zone, and we've struggled on defense. To me, that recipe doesn't make sense to be thinking every Sunday we're going to beat teams that are perennial playoff teams and Super Bowl contenders.
Well, flag on the play, okay? I want to throw a flag because there's an Eagle fan in here right now, and I want to make him feel at home. Encroachment, Eagles invading the Giants YouTube community. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
He just being a little nosy. I like that. I like the Eagles fans. I see Big
Well,
Play Slay in the building one time.
I just
I'm
want to make
gonna
them feel
say
at home.
this.
They're like the most penalized team in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna say this. I love the Giants just as much as any Giants fan in the chat on this panel. But Joe, there's no damn way we beat the Chiefs.
Oh,
There's no damn way.
my goodness.
You might be
You know,
catching the
we
Chiefs
don't- we
at the
don't
wrong
have
Like
to-
time.
I
look,
said,
look,
if
hear
there's
me
a
out. Hear me
1%
out.
chance, there's
Hear
a
me out.
chance.
Hear me
Oh, yeah,
out.
there's a chance. I mean, yeah, and that's how I
if
go
you
into
want
the
to take
games.
it that way, there's always a chance. But hear me
Right.
out. Look at the matchups. We don't have a pass rush. They have Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Our cornerbacks are suspect. They have Tyreek Hill, Kelsey. We can't guard the middle. Kelsey's the best tight end in the league besides George Kittle.
And we were struggling with Noah Fant.
Right. They got Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, Robinson.
Hey, I'll give you this, Joel. I'll give you this. If we go out and blow out Dallas, I might start leaning towards what you're saying.
That's the point.
I just
What
look, okay.
What?
I am so
Answer
tired
me
of
this, Joe. Answer me this, Joe, before you get into it. What in your mind makes you believe that we have any chance to beat that team? What on the field? On the field, not just your heart, because you're a Giants fan.
No,
I know.
right now it's
In
just
my
hard.
mind, I'm a
I'm
Giants
tired
fan. I
of
feel
right
we
now
can
it's just
beat
my
them
heart.
I can't. You know what? Like I said, I'm still mad at the
Okay.
team for the first 3 weeks, but I love this team so friggin' much that it doesn't matter. I say they're gonna win every freaking week. Okay, you know what? Last week was the only week I ever said the Giants were gonna lose.
let me give you the benefit of the doubt here. The one thing that we match up well with is our offense versus their defense. Their defense is looking really bad right now. Their pressure, they're 27th in pressure on quarterbacks right now, but they're 3rd in how much they blitz. So I mean, I do see the potential for some big plays, but you're talking about a shootout with Patrick Mahomes, where this defense would have to get much better, be able to get takeaways for us to even think about being within 10 points. And I mean, the Chiefs have struggled in covering the spread, a lot this season, but last game this past week, they look like they right back on all cylinders.
Well, okay, whoever expected the Chiefs to start out, what was it? 1-3, 1-2?
1-2. 1-2.
Who expected
and
that?
now they're 2-2.
What are they right now? 2-2. That's even worse for us, man, because when they get us later in the year, they're going to be going right into their 6, 7, 8 winning streak mode. It's the Chiefs, man.
And I mean, if you look at their schedule, I'm about to pull it up, but I remember the games were very difficult. It was the Chiefs that they lost to. I mean, the Ravens that they lost to first, where Lamar Jackson beat them for the first time. So he's going there with a chip on his shoulder, straight up trying to get that W. And I'm about to look at the other games because it was some tough matchups.
Guys, the Lions
The Chargers
almost beat the Ravens. Lost on a 66-yard field goal.
Yeah. But the Ravens are that kind of team that they rely on the run. You know what you got to stop. With the Chiefs, it's not like that. They got Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's coming off a 100-yard game, and they also got guys like Tyreek Hill, who's coming off a 185-yard game with 3 touchdowns, bro.
I'm not saying they're not a great team.
NFL,
they are. They're the cream of the crop. But you know what? Like I said, I'm tired of the losing. I want to start winning, and I want to believe my team has a chance of competing against these teams.
We all right there. But we got to be realistic. We can't just be pessimistic the whole time.
Right.
We can't just be thinking when this team is their best how they play. We gotta do due diligence and assess the game the proper way. I'm not saying that we can't beat any of these teams, but the expectation to beat them, my man G, that's my guy. But 6 in a row, that we can't be thinking like that.
Right,
now. We just can't.
Right.
It's nice to dream, and I'd love, I might get caught up and say it too. But you know what? That's spur of the moment. That's when my fandom comes out. And that's what led me to 12-5 was my fandom, the belief in this defense, because the way they ended last year, we stopped Dallas.
We did. Dallas was terrible last year, though. They were playing with a backup quarterback and the worst defense in the league.
Yeah, but still,
I did expect the defense to be like last year, and right now,
Dallas was a 6-win team last season, right? Or 5-win.
They're a 5-win team.
They were a 5-win team last year. They're already past halfway to that right now.
Right.
This is a different team with Dak Prescott on the field.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Hey, but I truly believe we could get the Cowboys this Sunday, and that's no bullshit.
Facts.
I believe we can get if we get hot. When we get hot, now I will say this, Joe. When we get hot on offense, I don't think there's a defense in this league that wants to see us when we're hot.
Truth.
But the thing is, it's that right tackle position on offense, discipline, and red zone offense that will stop us from beating a team like a Chiefs.
Yeah.
Reason why? The Chiefs might get pressure against us. Their defense might be playing like crap against everybody else. But against us, if they're blitzing from that right side and they're making Solder and Hernandez choose who to block to come in there, we might have an issue. They might get in there and blitz and sack Jones about 4 to 5 times. And if they're getting sacks, getting us off the field, do you have any confidence in this defense to get us back get our offense back on that field without KC scoring?
Well, that's the thing.
A healthy KC.
That is the thing.
Defense.
That's what's going to kill us.
That's what's going to kill us. Season. The defense don't get back to the defense we saw last year, or at least close to it, then forget about it. It's just another
all our chances out the window.
If you gave us last year's defense with this year's offense, I'll say hell yeah, we could beat just about anybody we want.
Oh, we could make a run if that's the case. Yeah. If this defense was stopping
played
people
like last year, I'll say hell yeah, we'll beat the Chiefs.
That's why I bought into 12-5 right there. Was the defense last year though?
Yep.
It's why I went down the road I went. All right, I thought this defense was going to come out and pick up because they were with Graham last year. They should have known what the hell to do this year, where there shouldn't have been such a dramatic drop off.
Yeah, but I broke that down a bunch, man. The
I know
quarterbacks we faced last season were trash, man. They were trash, and now we're facing really good quarterbacks, man. And now we're also having a lack of pass rush You know, there's a couple guys that ain't showing up that we thought were going to be guys that were going to be better than people that were out there last year. You know, I was one that I thought Jabal Sheard was doing big things on the edge last year. We talked about Carter Coughlin. You know, we were getting to the quarterback somehow, and now we're just struggling to get to the quarterback. And I think if we allow them to get to our quarterback, that's when you're going to see this offense regress too. Is you're going to see a Daniel Jones that's in panic mode if he could really get some pressure. Against the Saints, it looked beautiful because Daniel Jones was not touched. He was not sacked all day.
Right.
I will say this. I do miss Jabal Sheard. Jabal Sheard brought impact off that edge. I don't even know if anybody has picked him up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And Kyler Fackrell, too. You know, he was doing
Kyler
things last
Fackrell
season.
hurt. He's with the Chargers right now. I believe Kyler Fackrell with Azeez Ojulari out there, I think that would be decent. I like Kyler Fackrell coming off the edge way better than Zimenez and Carter. I don't know why we got rid of Fackrell. I believe that's a question I want to ask. What did
he looks
Zimenez
good in the Chargers, Pat. He looks good like the other night.
Who? Fackrell? Yeah.
He also looks like he bulked up, right? He bulked up. He's a real linebacker now.
Yeah, that dude gets pressure off the edge, man, and we miss him. We miss Jabal Sheard playing that defensive end.
Nate's saying Jabal Sheard is with the Dolphins now, too.
Oh, you said Sheard is with the Dolphins?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, every time I saw Kyler Fackrell, it's because the running back went by him and he turned around and had to chase him to try to tackle him.
With who was that?
Fackrell.
I'm talking about
Fackrell in the last matchup against the Cowboys had to pick 6.
Yeah.
You know,
but it seemed like every week I was watching.
I believe he had 2 sacks.
We miss him. Yeah. We miss him on pass rush situations, Joe.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, we're talking about guys who are average, you know? They weren't like excelling, but they were better than what we're working with this year. We're not getting to the quarterback at all.
You know what it is last year, man? You know what stands out about last year's defense in a lot of our minds because we're so thirsty for wins is that the defense played so good against Russell Wilson in Seattle. And that's what stands out in the Giant fans' mind.
Facts.
You know, that one game was like the whole season last year. It meant a lot to us.
It really did. And
it was the most surprising win of the year.
By far.
Yeah, and it had us believing that we were going to the playoffs, you know? We made us believe we were going to win the division, and we should have won the division, and stupid things happened at the end, but we did have a 2-game stretch in December where we got destroyed. I think it was the Ravens and one other game.
The Browns.
Yeah, we got destroyed against the Browns. Yeah, I mean,
that was early. I'm talking about that little 2-game stretch in December where we were trying to make a run for the division. Yeah,
it was Cardinals, Browns, and Ravens.
Yeah, we got destroyed those 3 weeks.
By the way, can I give you guys an upset special for this week?
Yeah, let's get it.
You know, I love doing that. The Colts will beat the Ravens outright. You got it.
I'm gonna hit you up, Miz, when they lose that game.
Right.
Okay.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
I figured he was going to say the Jets were going to win again.
No.
What?
Colts
Lamar Jackson leads the NFL right now in yards per completion right now. And I remember last year a lot of people talking about Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball, and that's crazy.
Well,
yeah, that kid can throw.
Don't get me wrong. I love Lamar Jackson.
At times.
Yeah,
that kid got an arm out this world. Lamar Jackson.
That kid got an arm, and when you can run like he can run, you open up passing lanes, man. They are a team that I think that people need to really put on notice. If they get into that playoff situation, man, they could really make a run at a Super Bowl, I think.
Authentic. I'll pick the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl in August. The Baltimore Ravens and the Green Bay Packers, and I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, I feel you. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. NFC is sketchy this year. I'm not too sure who.
And I love Jackson. A lot of people hate on Jackson, but I love watching him play some good.
You know what it is,
so
man?
Much fun, man.
People hate on what don't look traditional.
Yeah.
That's what it is. When you come into that's why a lot of people not high on Taylor Heineke right now, because he don't got the arm talent that you normally see from quarterbacks that are really excelling right now. But my thing is, can you get it done? Can you win games? Look at Lamar Jackson's win percentage since he's been here in the NFL. I think the only quarterback that has a higher winning percentage since is Patrick Mahomes, who's 40-10 in his first 50 games.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He's nasty. And I'll never forget the game last year where he had to go run to the toilet and came out and took the game away from the Browns, by himself, man. That was amazing.
Amazing.
Right? That was big. I love that. And I'm not going to lie to you. I admit, I'll be honest. I'm one of those old school guys who always believed in that tall, white pocket passing quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I always believed, but in the last 2-3 years, I've been able to change my view and see the league is changing. But Jackson, man, because I got friends like that. Jackson's never gonna win. Well, why he's not gonna win, man? Why? Because he's African American? Is that's why he's not gonna win? I
it's
tell
not
my
the
friend,
traditional
and my
vibes.
friend don't have an answer for that because that's the damn truth, and he didn't like me saying that. But I got news for you. Jackson is nasty, man. Nasty.
He's nasty. And I wouldn't put a guy like Jalen Hurts on his level, but I think Jalen Hurts gets the same kind of hate for the same reason. This kid is consistently putting up 300-yard games in L's. And go look at a guy like Dak Prescott for the first couple years and just go count how many 300-yard games he had. It's about 4. He didn't throw for 400 yards until his third year in the league.
Now I got a problem thinking about. I have a problem with Hurts. As do you think he's really their franchise quarterback?
I can't really pinpoint it yet because, look, we're only 7 games into the kid's career, 8 games into his career.
But I think they're going to give up on him, Authentic. They're going to give up on him.
You're right. They might give up on him and this is the thing. Young quarterbacks that go to bad teams, they get given up on very quickly. Look at Sam Darnold. On my podcast, I talked about Sam Darnold damn near every week. Like Washington, y'all might want to go pull that trigger, bring in Sam Darnold. They're like, oh, no, he sucks. Just go look at him play and use your eyes a little bit. He's on a bad team. Zach Wilson is suffering from the same stuff that Sam Darnold was suffering from over there with the Jets himself. And you saw Justin Fields get on the field here in his first game and probably put up one of the worst quarterback performances we've ever seen.
See, now Rick brings up a past that we've had a war in here about with Watson. Now he's putting the wrong stuff on me. I did say I did not want Watson over Jones. I did say that because I wanted to see my guy grow. But I never said that Watson's not a really good quarterback that could take a franchise far. I never said that.
And I'm with you on that. I think that I wanted Daniel Jones more than I want Deshaun Watson on the roster because there's a lot of baggage that comes with him. And I'm not just talking about the legal stuff. We're talking about an inflated contract. I mean, you paying this guy a lot of money. I love what Colin Cowherd has been saying about the Tom Brady formula of taking pay cuts to bring better players to be on your team with you. Tom Brady is only 5% of the Bucs cap hit right now. That's why you can bring in guys and keep guys like Godwin, Mike Evans, bring in an Antonio Brown, and still have studs on your defense. Their defense got so many players on that side of the ball, and that's because a quarterback like Tom Brady is taking that pay cut, man. And I want to see Daniel Jones maybe do that. If Daniel Jones does not completely ball out here and put up some of the numbers that I hope he could put up, when it comes time to re-sign, bro, I don't want to see Daniel Jones get paid no $40, $50 million, have a Dak Prescott type of contract.
Heck no.
Yeah.
No.
These
that's
guys
what I
get
like
paid
about Jones too. I don't think he's going to get paid that type of money. I think he's going to get what he deserves. That's not the type of money he deserves.
Hey, listen, the salary cap's supposed to go up to like 240 to 250 million right now. So you know what? Give Daniel 40 million a year.
No, I don't give
that would be 6 to 8% of the cap.
I'm one to saying don't give him that, because and
not if he hasn't taken us to the playoffs or anything.
Right.
Heck no.
Right.
And here's the thing: I think the Giants are in a great place. They're going to get this guy at a bargain because we haven't been in the playoffs because of all that.
Exactly. That's what I think too. Marcus Mariota was another guy who was forced out of town too, and they're looking at Ryan Tannehill like he might be some better quarterback. But I honestly think that if they would have stuck with Marcus Mariota, they might have been a better team. The RPO is becoming a bigger thing in the NFL. They don't run RPO with Derrick Henry over there like that because Ryan Tannehill don't got the wheels. He's a decent runner, but we can't forget about Saquon Barkley, who also, if they're going to want to keep him around and keep the chemistry that we're starting to see from this Saints game, if you want to keep that moving forward, Saquon Barkley's going to be another guy who can't get that top running back dollar either.
Well, I have a feeling that that's going to be a problem. I have a feeling.
I think it's going to be a problem too. Yeah.
I believe we franchise him.
Yeah.
I believe we franchise him once or twice.
Sorry,
Saquon Barkley, I believe we franchise Saquon Barkley soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might be a good move. And I see Rick talking about Deshaun Watson.
Sign him for the 5th year for $7 million?
Yeah, they got him for the extension.
I'm talking about after his 5th year, though.
But that's when you're going to run into problems. That's when his agent's going to want him to hold out. He's had the major injury. All that crap is going to come up.
But you know what? Saquon Barkley, he strikes me as a guy who would do more for the team. He doesn't give me that Ezekiel Elliott vibe of like, man, I'm just going to hold out and try to get this money.
Right.
But and you know what that depends on, Authentic? You know what that depends on? Him being a nice guy and working it out with the Giants? Is if the Giants made a playoff before that. That helps.
True.
Because if we keep on losing and winning 6 games every year, he's going to be like, yo, pay me all the money or I'd rather just get out of here and go somewhere new.
Go to a winning team. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, Barkley is going to be a way harder contract negotiation than Jones because of the position. Period.
But the injury might be a blessing. It really might. Because if he wasn't hurt, we're looking at another year where if he puts up those same kind of numbers, then he's going to demand that money because he deserves that money.
And then if his agent was smart, he'd be like, hey, the league just signed a multi-billion-dollar deal. There's more money. There's more salary cap. I want my man at $20 million.
Yeah.
I promise you that's what will happen.
And the Ezekiel Elliott contract, I think, is going to put teams and GMs and owners, on notice. Like, that looks like a bad contract now, He's not that guy that you don't need another secondary running back with him. Alvin Kamara out here getting $75 million right now, too.
Right. And he's actually saving the running back market. Kamara is actually saving the running back market.
And look how he's utilized, man. Never had 1,000 yards, never had an all-purpose 2,000-yard season. He's very durable because Sean Payton utilizes him in the proper fashion. They're not just trying to run him between the tackles and run him into the ground.
And I believe we can use Saquon Barkley like that.
Definitely.
We could use him exactly like that.
Well, I got a question on the other side of the fence of that. Let's say the Giants lose this week, lose to the Rams, and the season goes downhill. We're headed for another 4 or 5 win season. If you come up on the trading deadline and you get a really good offer, do you trade Barkley?
I mean, I'm always coming from the fan perspective. I wouldn't trade Barkley. Because then you got to think about what's going to happen to not only the running game, but what he does in the passing game. There's no one else on the roster that can fill that void.
No, not for this year. But then you'll have a lot of picks where you could go get another good running back next year. It don't have to be in the first round, but you know what I mean.
True, and that really boils down to Dave Gettleman. Dave Gettleman has been terrible in the drafts.
Yeah, you think so, man? I don't.
I think he's been terrible. Look at how long it took him.
A real good talent evaluator, man. He's been in the league 39 years for a reason. People just shit all over him. And in this last draft, it is well known that Judge was given the keys in the first round.
And Kadarius Toney seems to be one of Dave Gettleman's better picks right now after looking at Sunday's performance. Now, this is why I say that Dave Gettleman has struggled is because, look, we had drafts where we literally focused on linebackers. The whole draft. I think we drafted all defense in 2020 or whatever, or 2019, because 2020 was Andrew Thomas.
Cam Brown,
when we got Cam Brown. None of these guys panned out. Lorenzo Carter, O'Shane Zimenez, they're not panning out. He's doing better in the free agent market than he has as a draft pick. And this is the main point I wanted to bring up right here. He took too long to put talent around Daniel Jones. If you look at the first 3 years of Daniel Jones, the first 2 and then the first 3 of Dave Gettleman's career, he didn't draft any wide receiver talent or tight end talent or anything offensive to add to what Daniel Jones could do. The only person that he had got was Darius Slayton in the 5th round, and they were expecting for Daniel Jones to excel in a system with wide receivers like Darius Slayton out here expected to be a number. People were asking if Darius Slayton is a number 1. That's batshit crazy right there.
Well, I got something for Authentic when it comes to that, especially Zimenez and Carter. Shermer was the coach then, right?
Yeah.
All right. So don't you think that Shermer was like an influence on Carter and Zimenez?
I think it was both. Dave Gettleman strikes me as more of a defensive guy than an offensive mind, right? So when we brought in Jason Garrett, I thought Jason Garrett would be the guy that would help out with the draft picks. And look, there's another blunder on Dave Gettleman's draft stock that I didn't get to. Look at the offensive line. Look how much stock they put into the offensive line. And what are we still trying to fix 3-4 years later?
Well, there again, though, I'm looking at, because Betcher brought in all those old Arizona Cardinals and he wanted to resurrect his defense, but they were too old to take the positions over. They couldn't do it anymore.
Not Marcus Golden.
I mean,
that was one of our best pass
Marcus
rushers
Golden.
we had. But I feel you on Antoine Bethea, who shout out. That's my cousin's homie. He's Howard alumni too, and that's right up my alley right here. But he stunk. He stunk it up.
Right. So I'm putting some of this on the coaches too, because the coach goes to the GM and says, "Get me this guy." All right.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, you the boss. You the boss at the end of the day.
Yes, you are the boss at the end of the day. But you know what? He hired that coach, so he's got to put some stock into him. He's got to put some faith into him. If this coach says that he wants this guy, I got to go get this guy for him.
No, not necessarily. You have a meeting of the minds to see what the best pick is.
Yes.
And I'm always one to bring this metaphor up. When I go to McDonald's and the fries is cold, I don't go screaming at the dude flipping the fries. I say, hey, I need to speak to your manager. You feel me? And that's exactly how we got to look at draft stock. Dave Gettleman, who are the ones that they're talking to about the draft picks and all that? They're talking to Dave Gettleman for the most part. This year you saw Joe Judge in the mix, but Joe Judge seems to have more of an emphasis on the draft picks than Pat Shurmur ever had.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, I get that. Okay, but it seems like now we're looking at, if it was a great pick, it was Joe Judge. If it was bad, it was Gettleman.
I'm not like that. For me, if you made the great picks, Kadarius Toney, I'm looking at Dave Gettleman. Trading, back in the draft when the Philadelphia Eagles snaked us and jumped up ahead of us, trading with the Cowboys, and then a trade back, I look at that. That's a Dave Gettleman move. Joe Judge has some say in it.
Go back to the draft. Who you taking, Parsons or Kadarius Toney?
Is this if we don't trade out and none of the trades happen?
I knew you were going to go there.
You know I'm going to go there because, look,
for me, it
was Devonta Smith, hands down for me. That's who
it was for Judge. That's who it was for Judge. And then Gettleman wanted Parsons. Yeah. But they traded back, and then they allowed Judge to take Kadarius Toney. I believe Gettleman would have taken another Hog Molly right there at 20.
He might have. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
Because when did you ever know Gettleman to know anything about receivers? So
let's not forget this fan base on Twitter was still like, let's keep Pert at right tackle. We think Pert can be the starter. I
saw them on Twitter talking about, we were the main reason why the Giants won against the New Orleans Saints. Listen, man, these professionals don't give a damn what nobody talking about on Twitter. I'm going to keep it 1,000 with y'all on that. They do not care what people are saying on Twitter, because on Twitter they were saying fire Jason Garrett. The 99% of them was saying fire Jason Garrett. And Joe Judge said, no, we're sticking to the script. Dave Gettleman's sticking to the script. The one thing that I think was pressure on Dave Gettleman entering this draft is if you saw they were buddy-buddy with John Mara, in all those press conferences in the offseason where Mara was like, we need to bring in offensive talent and bring some weapons for Daniel Jones. Yes. So I think the pressure was from way up top, not from Joe Judge per se, but I do think Joe Judge was probably in agreement with it. Like, yeah, Daniel, we haven't drafted a wide receiver for Daniel Jones in the first 3 rounds the whole time you've been here.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you expect the quarterback to win with no talent? You went out and you traded Odell Beckham, who would have been the best talent for Daniel Jones as a developing quarterback, and you brought in Golden Tate, who pretty much is a duplicate of Sterling Shepard. It was the dumbest move he could have ever done.
Well,
he's an exact dude.
That was a holdover for 1 year, man. Listen, they had to trade. Listen, I agreed with the trade for Odell, because what are you going to do? Keep him around here for 3 more years? You know how miserable he would have been on top of already how miserable he was? I mean,
if you're, it's either they're lying to the fans, or I don't know. Because look, if you telling me, hey, we're trying to win while we rebuild, to me, trading Odell Beckham at that time, Dexter Lawrence and Jabril Peppers to me are not as big of an impact as Odell is on a game. Odell Beckham, you could he's what Kadarius Toney might turn into, because Kadarius Toney catches these slants, he's getting 15 yards yak on it. Right. And previous to Kadarius Toney being here, there was really no offensive talent here. I'm trying to think of the other wide receivers that were even on the core here in 2018. You look at guys.
Check it out. In 2 years, this guy has barely played. It turned out that way.
Say it again.
In 2 years, it's turned out that Odell has hardly played football. You know what I mean?
In 2 seasons.
He's had major injuries.
Not necessarily. No,
he's had major injuries. Let's be honest now.
No, I'm an Odell fan, so I know everything about him. This is what it is.
I know you are.
In 2019, Odell Beckham put up the same numbers that he put up in 2018 for the Giants, but he did it in 12 games with the Browns. It's right around 3 to 4 touchdowns and 1,000 yards. Somebody told me that, Odell Beckham is only going to be a guy who gets 5 touchdowns and 1,000 yards. I said, go look at the league. The guys who are scoring over 5 touchdowns, there's maybe only about 6 or 7 of them, led by Devontae Adams, okay? So that kind of productivity, Odell Beckham put that on 2019, the same that he did in 2018. 2020, he gets hurt on a interception from Baker Mayfield. He's trying to make a tackle, blows out the knee. But look at this. In the 6 games that he played in 2020, he scored more touchdowns than any wide receiver on the Giants roster in 2020. They played 16 games. Odell Beckham played 6 games.
But then, I hear you. But then I hear you with this.
Are you saying we lost the
we lost the trade? I always say it. We lost the trade. Jabril Peppers, man, come on, yo. This dude chasing tight ends the whole time. He's a decent player.
How many games you would have won these years with Odell? The same thing we were winning when we had him, right? We wouldn't have money to rebuild the team.
Well, no, here
It was
the
a
money.
problem.
The money I gotta put the money to the side because I'm not like in the finance office of the New York Giants, right? I'm just thinking about talent and players, right? And drafting the right guys to come in here. Okay, Odell Beckham is a playmaker that we know Daniel Jones could have used in 2020. The dude had 11 touchdowns the whole year.
Oh, I would agree with you. I was thinking about that earlier today. How nice it would have been right now this year to have Odell with this Daniel Jones.
Oh
Oh,
my
it'd be
God.
amazing. But and here's the thing is when you think about the money, and I don't even like counting pockets for real. When you think about the money, they're paying Kenny Galladay the same kind of contract they were paying Odell Beckham. Kenny Galladay's making $17 million a year on a 4 or 5 year contract. Odell Beckham was making like 20. So it's really not that big of a difference when you look at the contract.
Beckham was only making 18.
18, yeah, it was 18, $90 million contract, right? So for me, this year showed me one thing about the cap, and I'll wrap it up with this because I know I'm wrapping y'all up a little bit. I get passionate about the Odell Beckham thing.
Fine.
But this year, they showed me that the cap don't matter. When we were trying to bring guys to sign in, we signed Kenny Galladay, and they were like, yo, they're going to have no more money to do anything. And then they put $30 million to get Adoree Jackson to get over here. So for me, the cap don't mean nothing.
So,
It don't mean
with
nothing.
the cap in mind, Authentic, who do you think was more responsible for these players coming in like Galladay and Ross? Was that Judge or was that Gettleman?
I don't know, to be honest. Ross was not a guy. Ross is a guy that, yo, you just taking a chance on him, you spend $1 million. That's all they spend on him.
Yeah, Ross was a
$1 million on
freebie,
Booker.
man. Ross is a freebie.
They're freebies. They're freebies.
But I'm just trying to figure out who you think would want Galladay more.
Oh, in the offseason, like who would have maybe made a move on Galladay?
Baltimore.
Would it have been Judge or would it have been Gettleman that would have wanted Galladay here more than one or the other?
Oh, it's John Mara. John Mara looking at it like, what the hell y'all doing trading away my best wide receiver, and now we looking for offensive talent on a team that's ranked 31st on offense.
I have to disagree with you on that one, Authentic. I think Mara made the decision to trade Odell Beckham.
Maybe, but at the end of the day, they're still looking at a lack of productivity on the offensive side of the ball.
And
you
the
know?
person
you couldn't trade Odell without Mara O'Kane.
The person I believe that wanted Galladay
was probably not a good look either.
The person I believe that wanted Galladay the most in this organization was Dave Gettleman himself.
Possibly,
yes. He's always gotten
but
big,
you know we're splitting hairs here
100%.
because it don't matter. At the end of the day, you still had to pay big top dollar for a premier #1 wide receiver. We were trying to make Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton #1s. Guys like C.J. Board out there on the field. There was another 6'4" wide receiver we had back then as well too. Like these guys that are what's my man who was wearing Odell's number? Dante Pettis getting PT. Like, bro, what are we doing? It was very, very apparent last year that the Giants lacked offensive productivity, and it wasn't at the running back situation.
Yes.
We know that Barkley had the injury, and Wayne Gallman came in and was very serviceable throughout the year. If we would have had a top guy on that offense last year, you're looking at probably 2 to 3 more wins for the Giants, maybe 9 wins on the season.
Yeah.
And
last year, Gettleman, it was out there that Gettleman tried to trade for Galladay by the trading deadline.
Oh, he did.
Last season, yes, during the season. So the Giants been having eyes for Galladay for a while, and I think a lot of that. This might sound stupid. It's not stupid, but a lot of it is they remember what Plexico was for Eli, and I think that they could see Galladay for Jones being the same sort of thing.
Yeah, that's real. And Eli got Plaxico very early on in his career. I want to say it was the second year or maybe even the first year when Plaxico was there. He got traded over here from Pittsburgh.
I believe it was 05 or 06.
Yeah, I think it was 05 because he was there a year
before. That was the year they lost to Carolina, 23-0 in the playoffs, but it was the beginning.
Yeah.
Something good.
Yeah, I think, it was 05. It was 05. I had to think about it. It was 05.
It was 05, right?
A year before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because I remember that if when I look back at it on like in hindsight, it felt like Eli Manning was operating without Plaxico Beers for a while, and then the Super Bowl run was with Beers. But I remember I'm always proven wrong on that. It was the year before it. And, you need guys like that. Let's not forget Eli lost his first 7 games, and they benched Kurt Warner, who was like, I think, 3-4 or something like that, or like 2-3 or something when they benched him.
It was 4-5 or something.
Right, and then Eli lost 7 straight.
Mm-hmm. He
with a bunch more talent than Daniel Jones would ever have, probably. Like he had Shockey, he had just Amani Toomer, who's a veteran wide receiver.
Was him.
One hell of an offensive line.
Tiki was there.
Tiki was there. They had a decent offensive line.
Tiki had a monster year in 05.
And that defense was stout.
Over 2,000 all-purpose yards, I believe Tiki had that year. So
shout out
to
Bart
I see Nate. Chat. I see Nate talking in the chat about. Do I think he said? Hold on, pause. Authentic. You think KT could end up as as an OBJ. And what I'm saying with that is I'm not talking about the record-breaking stats. Odell Beckham put up 33 touchdowns in 3 seasons. He's probably one of the best wide receivers when you look at the first 3 years. It's Odell and it's Randy Moss. It's going to be hard to top that. What I'm talking about is the kind of playmaker that could peel the cap off a defense. We don't have that guy. Sterling Shepard is not that dude. Sterling Shepard is a possession-type slot wide receiver who can make the catches, but he's not getting big yak. You see it in one game with Kadarius Toney that he's got the explosive kind of talent to be able to be a guy to make the plays like Odell Beckham was making, which those are the plays that make everything else open up for your offense. Saquon Barkley's going to be better when defenses look at Kadarius Toney like, oh, we have to stop that guy.
Double team him. Yeah, because I said that draft night, and people were like, what? You're saying Tony's going to be like OBJ? I says he's got that skill set. He brings the same thing to the table. Now, he might not put up, 30, 35 touchdowns his first 3 years, but he's going to be in demand on the field. Defenses have to scheme him. He's going to be that dangerous.
And look at this, Joel. Here's the thing about Odell Beckham. Let's not forget the situation when Odell Beckham came into the league. The Giants were coming fresh off 3 years being in the Super Bowl with Victor Cruz being the #1 wide receiver. And what happened that October when Odell Beckham got drafted? Victor Cruz blows out the patella or whatever, and he's out for the year. You know who the wide receivers was on that team? It was Odell Beckham and Ruben Randle as the #1 wide receivers. Why you think Odell Beckham was feasting on a team that couldn't win games? Now, you're looking at Kadarius Toney as a guy who's literally on a loaded offense with loaded wide receivers. He's got Kenny Galladay over there. He's got Sterling Shepard over there. He's got Darius Slayton, who's still getting that 9 route. He's got Saquon Barkley, who's got to get touches as well, too. It's not the same situation. If you put Kadarius Toney on a team that depended on him, he might be able to put up numbers that are similar to an Odell Beckham, but not in this offense. You got Kenny Galladay, who's going to be able to take the safeties with him over the top. It's going to open up things for Kadarius Toney across the middle, and he should be a guy who's making plays every game from now on out.
Every game.
Look at how Tony and Galladay opened it up for slow ass Rudolph.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And Rudolph ran that route so slow, but he was open. I was like, man, that's the slowest open seam route I've ever seen. But he caught it. He was open.
He was open. And last thing about the OBJ thing, right? Everybody want to go, oh, well, OBJ's not working out with the Browns right now. But you got to look at who lost more. When you see Jabril Peppers and a draft pick come over here to New York in exchange, they take away our entire offense. We lost. That's how we lost. And you can look at it as a saying of like defense wins championships, right? You don't got to score a lot of points when the defense is winning championships. The defense will shut you down. Over there with the Cleveland Browns, there's a lot of cooks in that kitchen, and the identity of their team is not built like ours was. Odell Beckham was the identity in New York. We know in Cleveland, wide receivers are not the identity. It's a running back system. And the quarterback over there, I'm going to keep it funky with you. Baker Mayfield is not good. He is not that good. Daniel Jones is a much better quarterback than Baker Mayfield will ever be.
Because he continues to miss Odell Beckham.
I agree with that.
You see those throws on Sunday? Pat, Odell Beckham was 5 yards open on the fly, and you miss him 3 yards short on the back shoulder when he's blowing by defenses.
I don't know if he's doing it on purpose to him. But that man Odell Beckham over there has been open his whole time over there in Cleveland. He's been missing. It's
chemistry, bro. People don't understand. Like, did you hear when Daniel Jones was talking about why he connected on the big play with John Ross? Because it's happened in practice so much. Jordan Renan had asked him. He said, when you throw it to John Ross, do you know that you got to kind of lay it out there a little bit more because he's a lot faster? And he was like, yeah, I had to learn and work on that in practice to know that this guy's got the speed that I can underthrow it easily.
I wish we could see a healthy Odell play with Jones this year. I wish.
Man, Miz, they ain't even let us see it. Barkley, Beckham, and Jones. And then maybe we wouldn't have drafted Kadarius Toney if all that worked out, though. So that's the better offensive line.
And then if somebody allowed me to have a minute with Ingram, I slap him across the face a couple times and say, yo, do you know what you are capable of? Do you know what your hands can do?
That catch Rudolph had should have been Evan Ingram in for a touchdown.
Listen, Mac, highlight Mac's last comment right there. Because all John Ross has to do is catch maybe 5 balls the whole year like he did last Sunday.
Yeah.
All he's got to do is show he can catch that ball on a route like that wide open. I don't care how many he dropped.
It's going to open up his underneath routes. Me and Pat was talking about the comeback route. that might be one of the prettiest comeback routes we seen all season that John Ross called. That was beautiful.
Was ridiculous. Like
he showed you 3 routes.
He did it to him twice. I was like, ooh.
I went back and looked. I'm going to tell you, those receivers on the sidelines, Galladay, Ross, Kadarius Toney made the entire game for them. Because as the game went on, the Saints really, I said it in my video, they were shook. They started focusing and doubling on Kadarius so many times. It was opening everything else. They were worried about this guy. Okay? And this is what this guy could do all year. If we start to just put the ball in his hands, it'll open up everything else.
That's what scared him. What scared him was that slant play where he destroyed Paulson. And he got that 25 yards when he started juking out everybody, and everybody was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And he kind of gave him the signal. He was like, he looked at Daniel, and he was like, look, no one's lined up over me. So I know they were thinking vertical routes. On the defense, they're probably thinking, oh, Tony trying to go vertical because nobody on him. He planted that foot in the ground and did that slant. I was like, yo, Kadarius Toney shows you that he's shifty. His skill set, there's not a lot of players in the NFL at the wide receiver position with that kind of a skill set.
That step back
runs off the line is so explosive.
That step back, man. That little people just flying by him, man.
Even an old school guy like me, that step back, I jumped up and jumped out the couch, man. I made a little step back myself. I said, that was so nice. And that's what he's begging for. That's what
I really want to see some 4 wide receivers.
That's why he was angry 2 weeks ago when he said,
Hey,
2 weeks ago when they said he brought me here and they don't even use me. That's why he said that. He was so frustrated and angry. It's like, how are you not giving me the ball? I can help you so much,
right. And this is a good point right there from Ethan.
He says, I would say KT looks more like a Victor Cruz type.
Yep.
I think a hyped up Victor Cruz, like a Victor Cruz that runs a 4.3.
Yeah, and Victor Cruz was running a 4.3 back in the day. He was definitely.
But I think Tony's a little more.
He was getting that sauce.
He's more shifty. He's more shifty.
He's a little more like that rubber. They call him a joystick. He's like that, like he's more of
Victor
that.
Cruz could peel the cap off the top of the defense like John Ross, though, and we haven't seen that yet from Kadarius Toney, but I think we will. But Victor Cruz was more of a vertical guy, bombs, catching those bombs. He was shifty as well, too.
Toyota.
That's what I'm waiting for. It's going to come the game where
Victor Cruz, would you say that he was an overachiever?
No.
Or was he just that nice?
The injury ruined a lot of years for the Giants, man. Could you imagine Victor Cruz and Odell Beckham? We never got to really see it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Daniel Jones being drafted with Victor Cruz? Victor Cruz?
A lot of Victor Cruz's problem was his grades in school. That was all that held him back.
Yeah. I had a homie that went to Mass with him.
That's a good comparison, too. Dante Hall.
Yeah.
But Authentic, I know you get on about the Gettleman thing just to go back to it one more time because I'm obsessed with the guy, I'll be honest. About the Gettleman, what about if Jones emerges as a star? You're not going to give Gettleman the credit overall for that?
I'll give him half. I'd give him half the credit because we know that Jones was a Pat Shurmur guy. We do know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if you're going to knock Gettleman for some guys, you got to give him the credit for some guys, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely not saying I'm not one of these dudes like Mike Too Nice on Twitter all day bashing Dave Gettleman. He's done a lot of good things. Bringing in Blake Martinez, bringing in James Bradbury, bringing in Logan Ryan, the draft pick of Andrew Thomas. Right now our first-round draft picks are looking pretty good, but it's outside of the first round where I feel like he has struggled. Trying to rebuild that offensive line hasn't really done a A1 job, and trying to rebuild that linebacker core.
Nah.
Thank God we got Blake Martinez in free agency because otherwise the linebackers will be looking straight poop.
I would agree with Authentic on that. It just seems like it's the first draft that we actually got where we didn't have to address a need. We actually got BPA.
Yeah, but that's wrong.
Or is that just me?
We didn't go get it. It was wrong. And I told you guys all summer, man, we needed a fat hog Molly to start on this O-line, and we didn't go get it. And I know all you're going to say, the O-line's not the problem. You're wrong. The O-line is still part of the problem.
The O-line is definitely the problem. Definitely the problem. I mean, we can't run the ball right now because of the O-line. And here's the other thing is that if you weren't going to address it in the first round, how many offensive linemen did we draft in this 2021 draft?
None. Zero.
And
how many did you go get in free agency? Zero. When did they start chasing O-linemen?
When people got hurt.
We started picking up O-linemen from the grocery store with 3 days left to the season starts, okay? That's bad, man.
Well, that's bad. That's bad.
But who had control over this? Do you think Dave Gettleman would have went this whole drive without drafting one offensive lineman if he had control over?
I think that, like I've said in the past, and I think he's
know.
played a big role the last few years. John Mara has done things wrong here. John Mara has messed with the
and that's where we'll never really know. You know, it's very hypothetical. We don't know what's going on in the draft rooms, you know. And you could kind of see that Joe Judge had his hand in things, but I really don't know. But if I had to guess, like Miz is saying right now, I would think that Dave Gettleman would go out there and get a lineman. We knew we needed it.
But what I'm getting at,
or maybe this last thing about that is maybe they thought Nate Solder was a lot better than he was.
I can't believe that.
You still could have picked up a guy. You had 6 rounds, you know.
You had 6 rounds to do.
All right, listen.
The Chiefs picked up a stud in the 6 rounds. You realize that, man?
Yeah, dude.
Before I got Miz upset, what I meant by that is you got a better chance of hitting on a player when you go BPA than when you're trying to go after a position.
Yeah. But a team has needs, you know. If you're going to go best player available in the draft and you already have that's kind of what we did with Xavier McKinney, if you ask me, in hindsight, because we have Logan Ryan. And now you have a crowded safety room. You got Julian Love out there. You got Peppers. You got Logan Ryan. And you got Xavier McKinney all struggling to try to get on the field to get PT now.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna know a lot that we missed out on the O-line this last draft in the next draft, because you're gonna see the Giants is gonna go hard after the O-line. You watch.
They're gonna go hard at O-line. I even think it might be a good idea to trade some of the picks to bring in proven offensive linemen that you know are gonna get here and work. And here's the other thing is they let our best offensive lineman go in Zeitler, which is just ridiculous.
Right.
And because I guess they wanted the money to bring in. We all thought they needed the money to bring in Galladay, but then they turn around and get a Dory Jackson too. So
we can
I would rather have Zeitler than a Dory Jackson right now. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that we over-addressed the cornerback 2 situation.
Yeah, we drafted 2 corners.
Then you went out and drafted. There you go. You drafted.
What pissed me off is that we traded up to get Robinson in the 3rd round. We gave away one of the picks we got from the Bears to trade up to get Robinson. Why?
Yeah. And he's going to be a beast. I'm going to keep it 100 with you.
Dory Jackson.
He's going to be really good. If you saw the matchup, I think it was in the Senior Bowl or whatnot, with one of those bowls where he was going up against Kadarius Toney and he was locking him down.
Oh yeah, he might be real good. He might be a guy in that corner that at the slot. Who knows?
Hey, Pat, can you highlight Olivia's comment for me? She wants to know where I got the painting. I'm sorry, that's not a painting. That's a green screen, and that's just a picture that's getting thrown up behind me. You can see it kind of blur out a little bit.
That's what's up. I've been seeing Olivia in a lot of New York Giants streams, man, showing a lot of support. Yo,
yes, she does.
This is her first time in here. Hopefully, she's a subscriber. If she's not,
that's what's
say
up.
I subscribe in the channel. I mean, in the chat. I surely appreciate the support, but I've seen her on Twitter. She says a lot of good things.
That's what's up.
And not that it's a bad thing, but that's another Judge move in this trade.
Change it.
Another Judge move was he traded up to get Robinson. That's not a Gettleman move. That's a Judge move. I can tell you that for a fact.
Yeah. Which I think he'll be a baller, and Patrick Graham might have had his hand in that one too, because if you look at James Bradbury's not a cornerback that's blessed with the speed. You know, he's not that style of corner, and to have 2 like larger cornerbacks on the outside would be amazing.
Thank you.
Dope.
Hey, come into the chat early. You can come in and say a couple of things if you want to. I'll put the stream back in the chat if you want to come on and say a few things. You can.
Throw the link at her. Throw the link at her, Pat. Yeah. There it is.
But I will say this: if Aaron Robinson turns out to be as advertised, I'm not gonna lie, he does have talent. If he turns out to be as advertised in that slot, that will help out this defense tremendously.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
Tremendously. It might turn out to be a good pick, but now it doesn't look like a good pick.
That's that 3rd round that we traded up to get. Is that what you guys are talking about?
Yeah, we traded.
That upset a lot of teams when we did that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of chatter going on.
Dallas wanted them, but we jumped in front of them to get them.
Yeah.
Hopefully he pans out. Hopefully Ellerson Smith pans out. I believe that's holding us back a little bit too, because I believe he's a better pass rusher than what.
Where is he?
Than what the
He's on
X-Man
IR right now.
Yeah, he's on IR. He probably won't be back to like week 10.
But he's a guy that gets the edge. That's what I liked about him. He was like a more lean style pass rusher, but he could definitely get to that edge.
Shout out to Reek. He says Aaron Robinson is a physical and fearless watch. Of course, it doesn't look good, Pat. He hasn't played yet. I understand that, Reek. That's why I said what I said.
Yeah.
If he does turn out, I'll eat crow. If that's what you want to hear from me, I'll eat crow.
And that's the thing about draft picks, Pat. You know, like a lot of people in fandom want draft picks to come right in and be ready to go and be balling out, right? But that's why I like the way the Rams built that team by trading away the first round draft pick a couple of years in a row, a few years in a row, and bringing in players that they know gonna work. So now that we got all this draft capital, I mean, imagine if like the Bears come out here and pretty much shit the bed and, you know, have a terrible season, and that's another top 5 pick right there. And we have our pick. You know, I'm looking at the Giants being a middle of the pack kind of team, which will probably be like a pick somewhere 13 to 18 or something like that. Man, we could really capitalize on this draft, maybe trade away a pick, bring in a player. I think we got an extra 3rd round pick in this draft too. We got a bunch of picks in this draft, man.
And we could use that extra 3rd round to get us an offensive lineman.
Yes, man. And they could rebuild this team the proper way.
If the Bears pick is bad enough and we're able to get that boy from Alabama. Yeah. I know that's wishful thinking.
That's why
we got him and Thomas on the field together.
Yeah.
Oh, Daniel Jones going to the top.
I just feel like Jacksonville is going to be a lock for number 1, and I think they're going to take that kid from Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, Quincy Roche has been seeing the field.
Right. He has been out there.
He's been out there.
I have a little question. What would we have to give away for Mac on the Bears? What would you do? What would we give away for Mac?
Oh, man, that'd be both the first.
Probably the 1st and the 3rd.
Really, that much?
He's a great pass rusher, but it's the age thing I'm a little worried about. Kind of like when y'all were talking about Victor Cruz with Daniel Jones. Like, it's just a little bit too far of a gap.
32?
Yeah, and, you know, we've pretty much built the youngest team in the NFL right now, you know. So
that's why I like
bringing guys that are –
that's why I asked.
Like their way out.
Authentic, I'll be real with you. He might be the perfect remedy because he might be that guy that get everybody hyped up.
His play set is, but and it's just me. Like, if I'm building a team, I ain't no GM. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you or none. But like, if I'm building a team, I want to build it for longevity. I don't want to build it just to be a good team for 1 or 2 seasons to have a smaller window, you know. So for me, it'd be bringing in a guy, you know, maybe 26, 27, 28, you know.
Yeah, but I think that's why I bring up his name. I don't think you got to give up a 1 for him because of his age.
Oh,
you might not. You're
thanks for dropping links, man.
Oh, you know what I mean?
You
you're 100% right on that.
They'll take our 3rd rounder?
Pat, I'll give them a straight up 2. Maybe you want to throw Ingram in there.
1,000% throw Ingram in there. What?
Here's a 2 and an Ingram,
man. Yeah,
straight up. Here's a 2 and an Ingram, or 2, and if they need a corner, give them home.
If I'm putting in Evan Ingram, I'm giving them a 3 in Evan Ingram because Evan Ingram.
I think Evan Ingram doesn't. Yeah, you're not gonna get none for him.
They might want the corner, so you throw Holmes in there, maybe.
Nobody's going to want that guy on their team. Like,
I'm throwing Holmes. Aaron Robinson turns out.
I mean, think about the cornerback for the Patriots right now, Gilmore. They just gave up a 6 for that guy.
Right.
If we could get Mac on a 2 or 3, that would be crazy, right?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not giving up no 1. I was never thinking of giving up a 1.
Yeah.
No, because
go ahead, Joe.
There's way too many edge rushers next year. And there's some good edge rushers.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if I want to give up a pick and like Authentic said, stay young.
You will give up a pick for Mac, and you could still draft another defensive end. You got 2 picks in the 1st round. We're not giving up our 1st round picks. You know what I'm saying?
That's on the opposite side of Mac in Chicago.
You get a veteran beast, Mac, and you draft a young defensive end beast.
No, they got a young dude over there, I thought. Or no. Yeah. They got a young dude over there.
I know he plays behind the other guy from the Rams. I can't think of their names right now.
Because they hit in the draft on a guy, an edge rusher. I can't remember his name.
What team are we talking about?
I know who you're talking about. The Bears. I can't think of his name right now. Authentic.
Something with an R.
Olivia says, "Chill. Evan Ingram's a Pro Bowl tight end."
Hey, he is a Pro Bowl tight end though. You can't take that away from him.
Shout out to
listen, I've always backed the guy up. I still do. But if you would get me a Mac, man, I'm willing to talk right now. We can sit down.
No, Samuels Smith is the middle linebacker. We're thinking of the defensive, the outside linebacker that's over there. I can't think of his name. It's not Leonard Floyd.
So if you guys want to go where you want to go, we got to get back to Giants football, and that means 2 defensive ends, and they both got to be top level.
It's their inside linebacker I was thinking about, Pat. It's Roquan Smith.
Oh, you're thinking the inside linebacker. I thought you was thinking
about
outside linebacker.
I thought he was playing outside, but I remember him in the draft, and we got to find a guy that we can just hit like that, like a guy that gonna come in and be a guy like Parsons.
There's a middle linebacker coming out this year from Utah. I think that could be had in the second round. I can't think of his name, but he'll fall to the second round and he'll be perfect for this defense. I got to look at his name.
Pat and these guys will tell you right now. I was on Parsons and I was killed for him a year ago.
Miz was on Parsons.
I was following you and watching what you were saying before we met, right? And I know that you was heavy on Parsons.
I was sitting in the backyard in the snow, giving a video about Parsons in the snow back in December.
I remember that.
With my winter jacket, and I said, "This guy is a generational '80s style linebacker." And
that's who you wanted us to draft,
defense, man. And I couldn't believe he was there when we got to 11, but I totally understood the trade down. We had to do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
and I'm with you, man. We need a guy that's like that, man, that is going to come in and be effective. A Chase Young, Washington is not second guessing what Chase Young is going to do on the field. Even a guy like Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat got 18 sacks in 2 seasons.
Yo, Zion. I'm on show Zion.
Better late than
never. Everybody, bro. In front of everyone. I just want to give Zion appreciation. He helped me today big time. Put up a picture, helped me fix up my videos, so I'm not just sitting in a dark bedroom. And he come up big, man. And tomorrow we're doing a stream together. So I hope you guys will pop on tomorrow at 7:00.
Big salute, man. Big salute to Zion one time. Hey, Big Pat, I'm going to get up out of here, man. I'm glad we got to chop it up for a good, 2 hours and 23 minutes out here with the gang, man. My homie Joel, my homie Miz. Hey, Zion, I'm sorry I can't chop it up with you today, but we have chopped it up before. And I appreciate you, man, because I've done that for a lot of people in the Giants community, man, trying to help people get – I want to get people to get their opinions out there in the world, man. That's one of the things I'm really focused on here and doing mentorship for people that, making them skip steps that some of us OGs had to hurdle over when we was young, had these youngins skip those steps, man. But, it was a pleasure chopping it up with y'all, man. I got to get y'all on my channel, man. We haven't done a lot of roundtable stuff, man, but I'm planning on doing a ton more roundtable stuff this year. So I got to get all of y'all on this panel, on the show, man. I tell you what, if we beat the Cowboys, we doing that.
I'd love the opportunity to be on your show, Authentic. I love you with the beard and talking Washington football. I mean, I can do that. I can go back in time with the beard and talk about the old days if you wanted to. I remember Jay Schrader and Art Monk and Darryl Green and all them guys. Yeah,
me too. A lot of people don't know I'm 38, man, so I know about the OGs, man. I was watching football in the 80s. I've been a Giants fan since about 88. I know all about the posse for sure. Living in DC, man, it was good times, man. It's good football, good hard-nosed football, man.
It was good rivalry,
great rivalries. That was when we was the NFC
but
beast.
Respect, nothing but respect between Washington and Giants fans.
Big facts, man. Big facts.
80s, those were great rivals. 80s,
great rivalries, man. But y'all
and all them.
Y'all definitely got the invitation to come on my channel, man. We got to go out here and get this win on Sunday. This is the biggest game of the year. This is major, man. So y'all keep rooting for this team, man. Keep putting that positive energy out there. Joel, you might have to pump the brakes a little bit on the 6-game winning streaks and the Chiefs and all that. But I'm with it, bro. As long as you root for this team, root for these players, I'm with you, man. But I definitely appreciate y'all. Y'all know what it is, man. Giants Nation, we in the building one time, man. That's what it is.
Let's get it.
All right.
Check it out. Authentic.
Y'all be good. I'm about to eat dinner. I'm
gonna
be in the chat, so I'm just about to eat some dinner. I'm gonna be in the chat.
We do the game next year. We all get together in Washington because I've never been there and I always wanted to go to a game there. So that could be next year.
Hey, y'all got a spot to stay when y'all come down. All right.
Your Yankees lose last night, so you jumped to the Pirates.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's my backup hat.
All right, fellas, y'all be good.
Got you.
All right, have a good one, Authentic.
Then you can't say I jumped ship to a winner because they never in it. So.
Exactly. Shout out to Authentic coming to the show, showing some love, man. One of my best shows. I had up to 40 people in the chat. Thank y'all for coming in. We got Olivia in the chat. I said she'd be saying some good things. She said, "Did you know we could have had both Rashawn Slater and Creed Humphrey in the same draft?" We sure could have. We sure could have.
Hey,
I get it.
We also was high on Herbert, but he chose to go back to school one more year. We were gonna have him.
I understand it, but the way the team played last Saturday or last Sunday, I'm Lou in the house.
What's going on, fellas?
I'm excited for this team with the progression that we've seen. Like I said, they're still in my doghouse, but I'm kind of excited. I mean, this team there could be something there.
I mean,
And then
it's definitely something there. It ain't could be. It's definitely something there.
Right.
I believe they're just taking too long to figure out that they are something.
It is. We're impatient.
I say
Joe
just
Judge,
hold our
Joe
guard down.
Judge. Go ahead.
I just say hold your guard down. Watch the game. Get into it big time this week, but hold your guard down. Don't go in. I know we want to expect something, but don't put yourself to the point where you're going to be let down and destroyed.
Well, if you saw me and Pat call the game last Sunday, that first half we were not very enthusiastic about anything.
Barkley is back. This is what I got to say. I enjoyed watching this stream and not talking on it. I sat here and commented and watched and gave a thumbs up and supported all my guys. But this is what I got to say about that game that nobody is saying. In that fourth quarter, we watched our team mature and become a team. When we needed to win, our defense pulled out the stop. Our special teams gave us good field position. Daniel Jones came out there and audibled at the line, put us in the right play, threw a beautiful strike, got us down the field, put us in overtime. Then we got the ball and we mashed the gas. We didn't let up. Okay? That team came together as a full team. They matured, they finally gelled, and they did it right before everybody's eyes. And
you didn't watch my last video, did you, Lou?
No,
I said that too.
But I tell you what,
I talk about it.
They gelled and they rallied around Barkley and Daniel Jones. If you watch the post game, they interviewed John Ross, and he was talking about when 26 speaks, we listen in the locker room. And Barkley got his confidence back. Yes. So now it's a problem because you got a game plan for Tony coming out the backfield, Barkley coming out the backfield, and Jones coming out the backfield. Meanwhile, John Ross could take the top off. Kenny Golladay could take the top off. You got issues now. You can't just come in there and think you can zero blitz Daniel Jones.
Oh, no, that's what we want you to do. That's what we want you. We want you to sit on Evan Ingram routes now.
That's right.
We want you to sit on out routes and hitches now. I mean, what do you call it? Little stick routes. We want you to sit on that right now. We want you to only put 7 people or 6 people in the box and let us run an RPO and let Barkley hit the hole on you. I believe he is back, G Nation, because he was making some cuts that I haven't seen him make cuts in a while.
He back.
That touchdown that he made, that was old Barkley right there.
Every other play before that, he was looking for the quick run out of bounds, quick get down on the ground, make sure I hit the ground safely. He wanted to win. And he said, "To hell with it. Let's go play."
And he put it all on the line out there. When he made those two.
Once he saw that he can cut, juke, jump, and he was still good, he said, "Oh, baby."
I can tell that he's back when he made those 2 spins in a row. When he made those 2 spins, even though he fumbled on that second spin because that guy just hit it in the perfect spot. I was like, okay, he feels he's back. He's making 2 spins like that in a row. Oh, he's trying to show out now. I'm glad that he's back. So, I mean, if our defense can show up the rest of this year and be half decent, the lose thing about us getting 6 in a row is not that crazy.
Big. Dexter Lawrence was the voice of the defense in Blake Martinez's absence.
Right.
If you go back and watch Mic'd Up, he said it in the huddle before the game. He said, "We're always the first point of contact. Let's go out there and make a difference this game." And Dexter Lawrence ate against the Saints. He didn't get no sacks, but he stuffed the run. He was on every run play. At one play, he ran Kamara down from the back on the screen.
And Leonard Williams was playing like a beast that game too, even though he didn't get a sack.
They were sitting on the sideline.
Yeah, they showed a lot of effort in the hostile arena.
Mm-hmm. They were sitting on the sideline talking to each other about what the offense was doing, what the run shifting was doing, and they were talking. Johnson, Leonard Williams, and Dexter Lawrence. They showed it on the Mic'd Up episode. They were sitting on the sideline in between plays, like, look, this is what he's doing to me to get leverage. How do I get around it? And they were all giving each other tips. Leo, Dexter Lawrence, and Johnson. So they're communicating. They're giving each other advice, and then it's coming together real good, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a problem. They got their confidence, and that's all they needed, because we all knew that we have the talent on the roster. What they was missing was that swagger. Now they got that swagger.
Yeah, if they get their swag back,
punch Dallas in the mouth, because this is a division game. And not only do the Giants have a rivalry with Dallas, Patrick Graham hates Dallas. In case y'all didn't know. Remember, he played under Spagnuolo and Tom Coughlin in that Super Bowl season. He was a positions coach. Patrick Graham hates Dallas. It's going to be a different type of defense for Dallas. Mark my words. 6-game win streak. Joe, remember I said it. I'm back on my bullshit.
That's some tough teams.
Yeah, right. I don't know about a 6-game win streak.
I'm back on my bullshit. I'm back on my bullshit.
If our defense shows up, maybe.
Listen, we were once known as the Madison Avenue Giants, and we were one of the most feared teams in the damn league. That's when we used to clothesline you and hit you on your helmet with the club move and all that. Yeah.
Who was in the 2018 draft? Was it Barkley?
Yo, guys, I gotta break out right now. I have to go get somebody. But I love talking to you guys.
Well, we'll see you tomorrow night, Miz, on your show.
And I'm sure I'll see you a few times this week.
I won't be on 7, but I'll get on there though, Miz.
No problem. We'll talk anyway. I'll text you.
All right.
Well, this question here. Have a good night, Miz.
All right, you too, guys. Good night. I'll still follow you.
2018, I'm taking Quentin Nelson.
2018, I know what the Jets gave up to come up there to the third spot. I'm selling that friggin' draft pick.
I was one of the happiest people in the world when we picked Barkley.
I'm selling it.
I was happy too because we didn't take Sam. We didn't take Josh Rosen on Sam
coming
Darnold.
out of that draft, and I still would have took Barkley.
I would have traded that for a king's ransom.
Because we didn't draft Josh Rosen, who they thought we was going to draft. Because we would have drafted Josh Rosen, that would have been horrible.
Kid never got a chance. He had no O-line, and then he didn't even get another chance after that.
Yeah, that would have been horrible.
Josh Rosen, you can't play football. It's like, I didn't have an O-line in Arizona. Sorry, Josh Rosen, no one cares. That's the thing about
this. You heard me,
Joe?
Game.
What's that?
Hold it down real quick for me.
Okay.
If your quarterback can't perform, they want you out of there real fast, and that's why I like the fact that the Giants gave Daniel Jones the opportunity to develop. And yeah, it was hard for him. He had 3 different offensive coordinators in his first 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, at least 2 different head coaches. I'm talking about Daniel Jones, and my point being for bringing him up too is, if the way Daniel Jones been playing, been really good in my mind. And if you have a good quarterback in this league and a mediocre defense, you can win games. You know what I'm saying? And if you just look at what we did last week in a hostile arena at the Caesars, whatever they changed the name to, the Caesar Stadium or whatever it's called, the Caesars Dome. Yeah, we went there, and that's the first time we won there since 1993. I believe you guys probably all covered that. And to go down there and to get a victory against a good team like that builds a lot of momentum going forward. And we're hungry. You have Dallas on top of the mountain enjoying themselves. And guess what? They're due to F up someplace. And I don't want to talk bad about Diggs because he's been showing that, he's been playing good football. But at the end of the day, I know it's good football when you're in the right place at the right time, but stats can lie too. And I think what Miz said on his video too is, just run the ball, establish the ball, the run game heavy with Barkley, kind of what you were saying, get Barkley active early. It seems to be like he's not in his head no more. He seems to be the game is slowing down to him. So let's activate him early. Let's pound the ball on Dallas and then open up that play action over the top. Confuse Diggs, confuse that defense. I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Dallas been playing some good football. I didn't expect them to smash Carolina like they did, but Carolina did come in and did put points up and read our offensive ribbons and the kind of plays that we can do. I know y'all is not the biggest fan of Garrett. But he had a decent game last week, and if he has another decent game and if we can establish the run early, and I don't mean like 2-yard gains, I mean like 4-yard gains, 5-yard gains, just get something, I think we have the opportunity to hold it down against Dallas because our defense is hungry for their shutdown game. I think they were embarrassed of themselves for the first couple of weeks. I think Patrick Graham is embarrassed at his defense for the first couple of weeks too. It's good, but
save some for your video, bro. You putting it all on somebody else's stream.
Yeah.
Like two videos
It's on me. I always
cheat off on.
I feel you. I always have to hook up the homie Pat with some good takes, But yeah, man, we have the opportunity. Yes. Does Dallas scare me? Yeah, but you know what the thing is? It's a division opponent, so records don't count. We're 1-3, but we're not 1-3. Our record says we're 1-3, but we're not a 1-3 game.
Authentic says G Nation is officially the GOAT if we go on a 6-game winning streak. Because before you join the stream, Zion, before you join the stream, I said we about to go on a 6-game winning streak.
Well,
where's that paper? Let me sign that one.
Oh, I'd like to bring up something too, especially for
because they all got on Joe for saying that he thinks we can beat Kansas City. Listen, any given Sunday, any team in the NFL can lose. We beat the 18-0 Patriots. We can beat the Chiefs.
Yep. And Kansas City is struggling on defense. I'll let you go, Joe.
Look, there is a possibility of that.
To the wire. The Eagles took them to the wire. If the Eagles could take them to the wire, we can win. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, we got a lot of young fans and a lot of young YouTubers right now. And like for Zion, all he really knows is Eli Manning, correct? That's the only quarterback you've ever known.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're getting to see the growth and development of what some of us older Giants fans have been trying to tell the younger generation. Now that you're seeing the growth and development of a quarterback, does that help you understand the rebuilding easier, or does that still frustrate you like you were?
I think it helps me understand it a little bit easier, but I also think that it was we tried to win and rebuild at the same time. I know you guys talked about that, and I seen that, and you can't do that in this league, especially. I mean, like you can, but it's really hard. And the fact that I would say that, I'm gonna label it right now. I think Daniel Jones is gonna be and can be our franchise quarterback. And for me, I think I'm lucky in the sense of Giants fans were lucky because I seen the Washington football. I seen the Washington football team struggle with Jason Campbell and everything they had after that, and they let go of Cousins. I don't know why they don't sign a quarterback, but they don't. So I'm just happy that we was able to trust in the coaching staff, let Daniel Jones develop, and then see the offspring of the labor, because it went from Eli Jones. It went from Eli Manning to Daniel Jones. We didn't have to go 10 years with bridge quarterbacks and trying quarterbacks and this and that. We drafted Davis Webb. We drafted NASA, but it's not like there was gonna be it was just Eli Manning was still in the backups. Exactly. He wasn't he was drafted at backups. Exactly.
I'm gonna do you one better, Zion. I'm gonna do you one better. I'm back on my bullshit. The Giants are 11-6 this season.
Me and Joe were so for 12-5, and then we started 0-3, and we just shook our heads.
Lou, I can't do it yet. They're still in the doghouse from weeks 1 and 3.
I'm doing it right now.
I can't do it.
You know what? If we come out and we smash the Cowboys, I mean, like if we win by like 14, 17 points, I might jump on that stream.
Watch this. We're gonna snap on a 6-game winning streak. Then we're gonna lose like 3 in a row. And then everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, the Giants are falling apart. Here you go. Fire this person, fire that person." And then we're gonna go back and win the next 5.
Well, I'm sorry. If we go on a 6-game winning streak, I'm sorry, Cardinals, whoever they think is the best team in the NFL right now, the Giants are going to be the best team. Because if we pull off what you're saying we're going to pull off, that's against all playoff teams.
Right.
What it seems to be like playoff teams.
You will be the first team in history to start off 0-3 and go to the damn big game.
What's up, Rick? I didn't even realize that was you.
I didn't know that was Rick either.
What is the percentage? of someone making the playoffs after 0-3 start. Does anybody know that? Rick, you seem like a math guy, not to judge you.
I think they said like 0-2 is like 12%, so 0-3 is probably like below 5%.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
Well, 0-4, I can guarantee is not very good either.
Well, we're not 0-4.
Well, I know we're not.
Now. And we about to
I think it's so happy too. Like, I think we have all this optimism because we beat the Saints at home. That's super. That's an accomplishment for anything.
The optimism is because in the fourth quarter, this team finally gelled, and on
5
all
for 5
phases
in overtime.
On all phases of the ball, special teams got us good field position. The defense got us a stop. The offense executed, and then when we went into overtime, we mashed the gas. We didn't pussyfoot. We didn't tiptoe looking for a gap. We hit everything full steam ahead, the way the game is supposed to be played. And that's it. That's what we've been looking for. That's what we were all hyped up about in the offseason, and we were expecting it in week 1. But it took a little more time than we anticipated, but it finally clicked. You saw it. You saw it right there on TV. It gelled. And they just came out at an 11-point deficit with 7 minutes to go. The team came together and showed us that they had the potential to be what we all expected them to be week 1. And now
you need to read what Mac wrote because that's the next step.
By Joe, I think he's got it.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to see it all for quarters. Absolutely, Mac. And one thing to make a point on Lou too, correct me if I'm wrong, but complex defenses take some time to adjust. I know it's Patrick Graham. Most of this defense was in this game last year, but shit, they had the whole summer off. So it's kind of like it's not going to happen immediately off the bat. They took 3 weeks to adjust, and we've seen them play better defense against the Saints.
It would be easier to digest Zion if we were a good defense and then Martinez got hurt. But we were bad defense and we lost our middle linebacker, so that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
I pulled up the numbers for how many teams have made the playoffs after starting 0-3.
I'm back on my bullshit. 11-6.
Since 1980, only 6 out of 182 teams have made the playoffs. That's 3.2%.
I'm back on my bullshit. 11-6.
Take care of some real quick.
Well, it's a tall pile with them numbers going at you, Lou.
I believe
Big Pat just took the Cleveland Browns to the Super Bowl. Give it up.
I believe this is off track, but I believe I was watching the game the other night, and they said something about Sean McVay is 40-0 with leading at the half.
Yep.
Something ridiculous
that's
like
a
that.
crazy stat right
That's
there.
Crazy. And he's 6-22 when losing at the half or something like that.
Hey,
and that's the thing too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
you know what stat y'all not looking at? There's only one team in the entire NFL that has more championships than the New York Giants. So don't count us out. I'm back on my bullshit. 11-6.
So you think we're going 11-6, huh?
We're gonna win 6 in a row, then we're gonna lose 3 in a row, and everybody in the media is gonna be going crazy saying fire Judge and this and that, and then we're gonna go on and win the next 5, and we're gonna end 11-6.
I told Lou if we win 6 games in a row, we're gonna be the best team in the league because those 6 teams are tough.
Right. If we win 6 in a row, we're the best team in the league.
I got it. I'm telling you, it all depends on Sunday. It all depends on what we do against that Dallas team. Is to what road or what direction I'm going to go to. I mean, it's going to take the Dallas game, and it's going to take the next game for me to really figure out whether or not I want to get back on that horse and ride a winning season, or what. I mean, like I said, if I keep seeing improvement week after week after week after week, okay, I'm seeing improvement because improvement means wins.
Right.
When you play better, you win.
Exactly. Shout out to the honey badger in the chat. Ain't seen the honey badger in a minute. But to win 6 in a row, we're gonna have to be playing excellent football. I'm just gonna be real with you. We're gonna have to be playing dynamite football to win 6 in a row. That means we're gonna beat the Cowboys, the Rams, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Chiefs.
I believe you have the
Chargers and the Buccaneers
mixed in with that. Yeah, Buccaneers. There you go. I mean, it was another top team.
It's all about
that's a heavy bunch.
I would be happy if we came out 3-3, 4-2.
I'd be ecstatic at 4-2.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because that means we'll be even. We'll be 500 if we're 4-2.
Right.
And 500 with that schedule towards the end, I believe we get in the playoffs because I believe we're going to get the Eagles twice. We're going to get the Washington football team. We're going to get the Bears.
And Dallas.
I believe we'll beat Miami. And if we beat Dallas the first time, we could beat them again. And I think we could beat the Chargers. I'm just be honest with you. So, yeah, 11-5 can, 11-6 or 12-5 could be held in our hands if we can go 4-2 within these next 6 games.
Listen, if we go 12-5, and I predicted that at the beginning of the season with this start, I'm going to buy some serious lottery tickets. Okay,
right.
I'm going to start. I'm going to a casino or two. Vegas, here I come.
But let's run it. Let's run it legitly. Just being legit. Can we beat the Cowboys? I say yes.
I want to say yes, but I don't know, Pat. I'm still 50-50 on this. This game scares me.
We have a chance. I'm talking about those teams we have a chance of beating.
Yes.
We have a chance of beating the Cowboys. Most definitely. It's a division
you can
game.
make a winning point for the Giants to win that game.
The Rams. I'm going to be real with you. We have a chance to beat them too. We have a chance to beat them too. They're not world beaters. I mean, the Cardinals just whooped them.
You guys laugh at me for saying we could beat Kansas City, and you said we're going to beat the Rams. We
have a legit shot to beat the Rams.
Oh,
what's a legit shot percentage-wise? What's legit?
There we go.
I say 35 to 40%.
I was just about to say 35%.
Yeah. Then we play the Panthers. I believe we have a 70% chance of beating them.
Oof.
I thought the Panthers was way better than what they showed me this weekend, so I agree with you.
Let me see what they do this game coming up.
6-game winning streak.
What if CMC
I love that.
back?
I love that swag, by the way. Where did you get that shirt at? That's pretty dope, Lou.
We win the next 5 games, bro. Period.
5.
6-game winning streak. Hands down. We're gonna be 6-3.
The next Panthers game, but what about CMC? What if he comes back? That's a whole nother.
I'm not worried about CMC. I mean, he's a good player, but we play Kamara, same type dude, same type player. CMC is the same type player, and he's not that much better than Alvin Kamara. I'm sorry, he's just not.
Hey,
we play Panthers and the Rams both at
suspend
home.
Logan.
That's home
Logan
games.
suspended.
Well, here's the thing.
We don't take that kind of talk, Logan.
If our offense continues to gel like this and we're putting drives together, and we're keeping their defense on the field, we're winning time of possession, maybe the defense can step up and beat Carolina. That's what it's going to take, is this offense has to continue doing what it's been doing.
If this offense continue what it's doing now, we have a chance to beat a lot of teams. We do.
Yes.
If the offense continues to play the way they're playing right now.
Yes.
We're going to beat 11 of them.
Oh, man.
But legitly, against the Rams, I think we like a 35-40%. The Panthers 70%. The Chiefs, I give us a 10% chance against the Chiefs. I'm sorry,
Bro,
we just don't match up good. We don't match up good with that team.
Who is the quarterback for the Rams?
Matt Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. He's playing well.
He is playing well.
Stafford, though. That guy survived Detroit.
And they got the giant killer on their team. They got Deshaun Jackson on their team.
Well, like I said, though, Detroit almost beat the Ravens. I know everyone doesn't want to say, but still, Detroit.
Hey, his players are playing for him. Let me tell you that. Campbell's players are playing for him.
Authentic.
Said 9-8.
Authentic.
If we go 9-8, we got a chance to make the playoffs.
We're gonna go a 6-game winning streak, including the 1 game we just won. So that's 5 more straight. Then we lose 3 in a row, and everybody's talking about fire Joe Judge and Dave Gettleman. And then we'll win the next 5 and probably lose in the 2nd game of the playoffs. But it'll be a way bigger improvement than what we've had for the last 5 or 7 years. So,
but who's the Raiders? I think we got a 60 to 70% chance to beat them too.
That's high.
If you listen, I love Derek Carr. Okay, but if you get to him once or twice, he's shook for the rest of the game.
Yes,
I was
he
just
is.
about to say that. Like, nothing against Derek Carr, but when I was watching that game, I'm like, oh, thank God we have Daniel Jones. Like, he didn't
Right.
feel pressure for some reason. I don't know if it was just an off night with Derek Carr, but I was like, oh my God. Nothing against Derek Carr. Over 1,300 yards on the
The
season.
Buccaneers, I give us a 50% chance to beat the Buccaneers, especially if their DBs aren't back.
Hey.
Well, if
Richard
Mac
Sherman's
Jones
their
can
best
keep
DB,
that game close and almost, go into overtime with them, I think we might be able to hang with the Buccaneers.
Hey Pat, you in the wrong line of
They're
work.
struggling on
You
defense.
giving percentages. Go ahead and give odds. You should do a video on what the line is on each game.
Let's get it.
Well, you
I
got to
can
figure
do that, and I can
Kansas
give a
City's going
real
to be
good
12
video on that.
points.
Kansas City, yeah, it's
Hey,
gonna be
Kansas
Kansas
City's gonna be
defense,
12
though,
points minimum.
The secondary is worse than the Buccaneers nowadays. Like, their secondary is bad.
Yeah.
But I don't think our defense can stop them. I think Jason
That's
Kelsey's
true, but
gonna
think
have over
about it.
100
Think
yards
about it.
against
If we're
us.
coming off of if lose right, say we beat the Cowboys. I'm not trying to overlook none of these teams, but say we go on a three win streak right here, it's a different game coming in the Chiefs. We have the motivation. This is if we're talking about us going if we're breaking down.
I know
Why do we
6
gotta
and
play
0.
on Monday night?
I'm not saying that Matthew Stafford's not a good quarterback. He was a monster. Him and Calvin
I'll
Johnson
bet.
did wonderful things. But right now, I don't care who it is. I'm a Giants fan. We're supposed to be able to stomp on everybody like they ants, hence the name Giants. So that's what I expect. When I spend money on jerseys and hats and apparel and tickets, they better come out there and stomp some freaking body. Squash them, pancake them, lawn chair them, fold them up on the damn floor, carry them off on a stretcher. Get them out of there, but walk away with the W.
It's.
Yeah,
I'm
get to
telling
the
you, man,
quarterback.
Absolutely.
And then everything.
I
will come
hope the
to
hell you're
fruition.
right, Lou. I really do.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here praying, hoping you're right, my guy. I'd love to see something like that.
Listen,
because
what got me fired up was that fourth quarter and the way that we won. But immediately after, I watched it mic'd up with Dexter Lawrence, and I saw how the defense was communicating on the sidelines when the offense was on the field, and how they were helping each other, and how there was no ego, and how they was really trying to be a solid group. Man, I'm telling you, it's
That's why I said you didn't watch my video I put out earlier today.
No, I was at work, and then I came home, took a shower, and started watching this video.
You watch Berkeley hype the guys up on the sideline, and then you see
I
Penny at the
tell
end of the sound
everybody.
effects hyping him up. I'm like, yo, game's over, Penny. The game's over. He's like
Right.
hyping Berkeley up, like, Penny, the game's over.
I'm
I
tell
how Joe Boa Peppers came out there. Like, we want that MFer. We want it. Like,
Right.
The whole
I
stadium
told
heard him.
everybody, I said, in my video, Daniel Jones is growing before our eyes. You're just going to have to watch it.
That's
We don't
true
count
too,
that
authentic.
interception. That was
But
a Hail
if we
Mary.
could get to Derek Carr sees ghosts when you get pressure on him.
Big
He
if
does.
Yeah, because I was watching Sam Darnold see ghosts again when they played Dallas last weekend. There was a couple of throws that nobody's going to make that throw unless they're really nervous. And he threw into triple coverage, and what's his name was coming right across and picked it off. I mean,
Diggs. That's Stefan's brother, huh?
Yeah.
Stefan's younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Alabama.
yeah, that so I don't see Daniel Jones making them types of throws.
Nah.
Well, guys, I've
He's
been
been
on
so
here almost
accurate.
3 hours.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So
That's awesome.
I want to get you guys' final thoughts, and I'm gonna wrap it up at the 3 hour minute mark. I'd like to thank everybody that's been in the chat. We actually got up to 42 people at one time in the chat today. It's probably my best stream.
Let's get it,
everybody.
Besides the fight between Mayweather and Jake Paul, I think I had like 80 people in the stream that day. But as far as just a regular Giant stream, this is the best stream I've had, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, Pat, are you live streaming the heavyweight fight?
Yes, sir. You know I am.
Let's get it.
I'm
Is that Fury Wilder 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna find some way to get it, and I'll be streaming.
I'm a live stream. I'm a live stream the De La Hoya and Mayweather fight if it happens.
What's that other big one? You got not triple C. You got Canelo.
Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez.
Caleb, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That one's coming out too. I'm gonna do that.
That ain't gonna be no big fight. He gonna beat the hell out of Caleb Plant.
Yes, he is.
Caleb looked so tough at the press conference, though.
No, he didn't. He threw that one hit and got slapped twice.
Right.
I was just trolling.
Quickly. He slapped him quickly twice too.
Yeah, he slapped him
man.
like he was hitting one of his kids.
Right. Slap.
Get in there and do the damn dishes.
He smacked. I thought he was gonna backhand him after the 2 slaps. I was like, my goodness, that was fast. But yeah, I'm optimistic about this team. I think we could beat a lot of teams that they'll count us out against, like the Rams, the Panthers, and the Raiders. It's just teams like the Chiefs. I don't think we're ready for no Chiefs.
Man,
our defense.
Listen, the Eagles took them to the wire, bro.
Without some
took the Chiefs to the wire, we can beat them.
Man, 2 touchdowns got called back on the Eagles. Oh, I rewatched that game, the whole game, and Devonta Smith doesn't step out of bounds, and a couple other things. Yeah, you know what? It's a different ball game.
Listen, bro, we beat the 18-0 Patriots with the greatest quarterback of all time on their team, and arguably the greatest head coach of all time on their team. So I'm not scared of the damn Chiefs.
And not to take anything away from Bill Belichick, but don't you think that score for the versus the Patriots game should have been like 35-42 because Tom Brady missed so much passes in that game?
Well,
I'm not trying to diss on Tom Brady, but
he had time flustered though. I think he had time flustered.
That was the score of Week 17 of the final season when we played them.
Mm-hmm. So Tampa and the Chiefs secondaries, anything could happen.
Who that said we couldn't beat them Saints?
Past the Cowboys first.
That was a really good win the Giants had. Pat wants last.
We couldn't beat them Saints.
That really was an impressive win to be able to stay in that game. We had the lead for most of the first half. We didn't go into the half trailing. Tied is 0-0. That's how I look at it. We weren't down by anything.
We kept on fighting.
And like Lou said earlier, the team, Daniel Jones kept balling, kept making plays, kept producing, kept willing this team to stay in it. And people just picked up on that. And they're like, I can't do this no more. I got to step my game up. And then they showed heart. When a team shows heart, that's when the winning starts. That's when the fundamentals get better. That's when the blocking gets better. That's when they fight for each other. And that's what we saw is they were fighting for each other. That was a cohesive 11-man, both sides of the football. Defense is like, here's the ball. Offense is like, here's points. All right. So I love seeing that. And I want to see improvement next week. We see improvement next week. We got a chance to win the game. Whether it's 55-45, 70-30, whatever, there's the chance that we can still win the game. We are not favored in this game in any way. We're underdogs by 7 points. And that's how the Giants like it. We don't want to go in favorites. When we go in as favorites, we lose every friggin' time when the panel picks us to win.
That's a question for the panel too.
To win this game, we're gonna smash.
Do we see Tony getting at least a pass off this game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tony gonna catch a lot of passes.
Listen,
no, like throw the ball.
Throw a pass.
Oh,
listen.
Oh no.
We showed that last week. It's going to be a
he made a smart play by not throwing a dangerous, risky throw when he saw.
He made a real smart play right there
and gained 2 yards. That was beautiful.
It's smart.
It's going to be a bait. You watch. It'll be a trick play. People are going to think Tony's going to throw it, but they're going to do something different.
No damn end around on the 3-yard line with Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram. Oh man.
Don't throw the ball to Evan Ingram in the middle of the field.
Don't throw him the ball.
He's just a decoy. Just make him take somebody.
Don't throw it to him. Period.
Yeah.
Jones, drop back, throw over the middle, and it's dropped by Ingram.
Pump fake to Ingram and throw it to somebody else. Ingram is your pump fake guy.
Man, yeah, he does it to you every time, man.
He's a great decoy for Saquon. Run that play again.
Right.
Oh man.
There you go. She said she hit you on Twitter. She'll come in on the next roundtable on your channel, Pat.
Let's get it.
All right. I'll definitely send it to you. Hold on.
We'll be
I'll
calling
put
the game
link.
Saturday or Sunday,
No,
425.
she said on your next roundtable, whenever you do this again.
You guys, you and Lou figure out what we're doing or where I'm going. I mean, I still got a contract to sign somewhere.
Contract this week,
Hold
Joe.
on, you were under contract
you
with
still
Big Bad
going-
Sports Talk. What are you doing?
You with me on Sunday nights. You with him on Monday nights. You and him
So
do Monday night football. Me and you do Sunday night football.
You got Big Pat morning games, and then you transfer over to Lou's channel, and then you're back on Pat's channel on Monday nights.
Oh my God. That's 10 hours of YouTube. I'm on this friggin' thing long enough.
If I feel like calling a Monday night game, you gotta show up on Monday night. But Giants games every Sunday. We do Sunday night with Lou, and we all three could do Monday night if we can. If Lou ain't got to work.
I'll hop on when I can. I'd love to call some games.
Well,
with you guys.
here's the boot.
But
well,
the thing
thing
is, Monday night is on your channel, Joe.
Well, I'm thinking of calling the Eagles game at 1 o'clock.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you trying to do overtime. So that means we got the Eagles game, Sunday night game. Well, I'm a cook before then, so I have something to eat during the Sunday night game.
Wait a minute. So you and Joe do the Giants games, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So me and Joe do Sunday night games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Monday night, all three of us do it on Joe's channel on Monday night.
Monday night is on Joe's channel. Gotcha.
So you're going to get the Monday night game, Joe.
Nobody cares about Thursday night.
Against the Buccaneers.
Yeah, Thursday nights is the bottom of the barrel primetime games.
Right.
So we can still call them for the people who are out of market and can't watch it. You know? We can still
Hey, Zion, you want to do the game right on your channel?
Think about it.
I'll think about it. Hey, you're over there giggling.
More people will watch the stream than they'll watch the Thursday night game. So it might be a good thing. We can call the game on your channel on Thursday.
That is true. I wouldn't mind that. And of course, tomorrow we're going to be on his channel at 4 o'clock.
All right.
Pacific.
All right.
7 o'clock Eastern, if I'm correct.
So the game plan is tomorrow night's on Zion's channel.
No. I'm on Miz's channel tomorrow.
Yeah, we're on Miz's channel
maybe next
tomorrow.
week Thursday we can do. Yeah, Miz's
tomorrow. Next week Thursday. So then I'm going to do the 1 o'clock Eagles game if I can get it. And then 4:25 I'll be on Pat's channel. And then 8 o'clock I'll be on Lou's channel. And then I'm calling Monday night.
Yeah, and we'll be on
that'll get my watch hours up. Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. For next week on Thursday, we can call Tampa versus Philly on my channel. That's perfect.
And
Rick
all our chats talking
just
about
make sure is everybody on Twitter? Is everybody on Twitter? Make sure you post a link to the game on your channel on Twitter so everybody can get to it. So everybody in the Giants community will know that you're going live during that period.
During the Giants game?
You know how I post a link every time I get ready to do the Giants game with Joe? Make sure y'all doing that.
I don't even be on Twitter like that. I just post my video.
Do you want
if you do, Lou,
little section?
you get more subscribers and more watch hours doing that.
Right.
A lot more people are on Twitter.
I share my video to Twitter when I post a video on YouTube. But
that's what I mean. When you do your lives, do the same thing.
Okay.
You guys should figure out a section for Rick. He can come in and he can give you guys maybe like his own little section. We'll go over some numbers. Maybe talk about these kids when they was in college.
You want to know what I thought about this? You want to know? I thought about this so good. If everybody was able to do it, I would have had Reek, like the halftime show guy, to give out the stats and call out the scores.
Oh, that'd be great.
Me and Joe was going to be calling the game. If Olivia is still in the chat, I will have her as the third wheel that come on like they be doing the little announcements on the sidelines where she can say it was somebody's injury or somebody like that.
I would have had injury updates and
I would have had Lou as post game and pre game, and then I would have had the whole show after the game like I usually do. That's why my streams usually last about 5.5 hours because I do the whole post game right after the game. I try to find a way to get everybody involved in the community.
Olivia says she got it.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
She said she'll be there.
Olivia, me and Joel are calling the game on Sunday at 3:25. So
well, 4:25 East Coast time.
Yeah, 4:25 East Coast time.
So 125.
If you're able to come on there,
look at me.
You can come on there and you can be the third broadcaster because me and Joel are a dynamic duo. We need one more. We need one more person. I believe you could be that person.
Oh, she'd be great for the Twitter follow and the read of injuries and game updates, and
that'd be awesome.
Right. If you have it to where you can actually come live, if you have a camera and everything set up, if you do have a camera set up, if you want to come live and show your face, if you don't, you can just come in. You don't have to show your face.
And you can block the camera. Yeah.
Hey,
you can do this.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Just talk.
And
good.
Logan,
Now I can make faces.
Speaking of Logan, that's in the chat. I wanted you, Nate, and Benny to do one as well. You guys could do a stream as well of the games and everything. Y'all guys should collab and try to do things. This Giants community is huge and it's strong. So there's avenues for everybody to eat.
Fans anywhere. Ask Tudo. He's all the way in Palermo, Italy.
Right. It's enough room for everybody to eat. I know Entertainer and Bag Dog are the big dogs, but it's still room for everybody to eat. Real talk.
And they show love too.
They show love as well.
On their channel
absolutely.
And I'm actually supposed to be on Entertainer's channel not pretty soon. I believe next week I'm supposed to be on there. I have to talk to him again. But man, it's room for everybody to eat, and there's room for everybody to have something to do with the Giants.
Right. Miz talking about he's streaming live tonight at 3 a.m. His neighbor.
Well, I'm going to be dead honest here. I haven't had this much fun during a football season in a long time. Well, and when I say long time, I mean back when my dad was around and I was a kid, and people would come over and we'd have a big turkey cooked up and we'd all watch the game, and the kids would go play, the adults would be doing their thing, and I mean, I've just enjoyed this being on with Pat and Lou and Rick and Zion and just talking football, calling games, a place to hang out. I'm so happy to make a channel, bro. I am so happy to be a part of this.
You know what else I thought about too? I would have, if they wanted to link up, Adam and Miz link up and do a rant show. That would be awesome. I got ideas for all you guys.
You put First Takes to shame if they team up. Undisputed, you got your money works. Adam and Miz gets together. Oh, you better watch out.
Man, and have them do a Giants rant show.
That's fire.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, everybody can do it. I mean, we connect on here all the time, so might as well connect and let everybody get their stats up.
And if anybody didn't know, I thought this whole time Adam just was calling in as a fan. He actually has a channel. Go and subscribe.
Yeah,
I am.
Oh, yes. Please support Adam, guys.
I'm subscribed already.
What is it?
Adam is an OG. He's been doing this for a long time. He took 11 years off and came back. So it's Adam. I'll try to see if I can find it, and I'll put it in the comments if you don't mind, Pat.
Yeah, put everybody's channel in the chat before I go.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm only 9 away from 500, guys.
Let's get you that 5.
Because I'm starting to produce videos too. It was just hard when you're on that bad of a losing streak. And I wanted to apologize to a lot of my people that follow me. But it's like
you start my fans hate me.
If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
No,
and
that's when you bring out the indictments.
Yeah, you brought out the indictments for everybody, Lou. That was.
Look, Miz, I'm telling you, you and Adam having a show where y'all rant will get so many views. Especially that one rant you did when you was sweating, man, that was hilarious.
Oh,
the one when you was sweating in the car, man, that was hilarious.
You know what really made Bad Dog and Entertainer famous is that DJ rant when they drafted him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was following Chris and he only had like 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers. And then I looked the next day and he's got like 20,000.
Facts.
Them rant videos, people love them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you and Adam meet and have a beer
Us
sometime
too.
once in a while, and then you guys get on camera. And, oh man, you guys would be viral.
Why they gotta have a
Immediately.
beer to get on camera?
Well, you know what? You know, you got to be. You know, you got to meet your
Loose. You
adversary,
gotta be
don't
loose.
you?
Gotta be loose.
It's I was gonna say too. It's a lot of. I know you didn't mean to brush over it like that, Joe. That wasn't your intent. But also too for them, for those two, those big dogs, Bad Dog and Chris, Entertainer Talking Sports, man. These guys chew thick and thin, man.
Oh yes, they
They've been
have.
posting videos for the longest, and they
Oh,
deserve
yeah.
every single like and every single view and every single subscriber that
Yeah,
comes
they're
their way.
consistent too. They're
Yep.
consistent.
Absolutely.
I mean, Chris was the first guy that I
the
got a hold
main-
of, and then I couldn't get a Giants game, so I watched Chris and Bad Dog in a game. Like I said, I've been following them for a long time.
That's the main thing in this game, though. You got to be consistent.
Consistency.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
keep posting videos. Eventually, people will gravitate to your channels. It's just YouTube won't pick them up unless you're constantly putting them out. You
Yep.
keep putting them out. And
Oh, I didn't know
it'll
that.
grow.
Eventually, one of
Yeah.
them
Yeah,
will
it's
hit.
about getting in front of the analytics and getting in front of the matrix of
Yeah,
not the
eventually
matrix
you'll
of
hit.
like assimilation, but the matrix of the matrix of YouTube. The more
Right.
videos you put out, the
Oh,
better your tags get. The description, everything matters. Your thumbnail, everything matters when it's about growing and the growth of a YouTube channel.
I've been trying to work on my thumbnails better. I don't know if they're looking better or not, but I sit down here for an hour or two every day and work on them thumbnails and try to figure stuff out.
Yeah, I try to work
Because
on
to be
mine,
honest with you
too.
guys, like I'll go and I want to watch a movie, but say like it's a second movie. I never watched the first movie for a while, so I'll be like, so and so Store Track review, and whatever comes up, I'm gonna click on the nicest thumbnail. I don't care how much views you have. Whatever thumbnail catches my eye, I'm gonna click on that video. So that
Right.
video is gonna get my view.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I got to work on my thumbnails as well.
That's why I
do a
said this
decent
last
job.
one, I actually put text in it.
Well,
There you go, let's
wow.
get it.
Congrats, Adam.
Yeah, congrats, Adam, if you're
Hey,
watching.
Let's
There's
get
an
it.
app that you can use
Yeah,
on
there's
your
a-
phone. That's
Yeah,
free.
you can. I was gonna say, download,
Oh,
go on your
font
App Store
too.
or your Google. Sorry to interrupt, G Nation. Go on your App Store or your Google Store, whatever it's called, and then just download like Thumbnail Creator, free thumbnail app, and it's simple to use.
Alright,
You just use
Authentic.
it with your phone, and and yeah, it's simple to use. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
You can,
Okay,
you can,
man.
you can
Guys.
always hit me, the younger generation up. They're always
Well-
down to make thumbnails. I know Logan loves making thumbnails.
I'm not. What really helped me is Logan brought me into a private room like this.
Oh,
We weren't online, and he could actually share screen and show me how the program worked. And I could
Like
share
Zoom?
screen and show him what I was clicking on. If we could set up something like that one day, you can help me run
Absolutely.
through a program, and Pat and Lou.
Oh shit! I'm
Yeah,
still
I'll
learning
show
all
you.
this stuff myself.
Actually-
I've been calling Pat, asking him stuff, and Zion.
Shoot, I did. I helped Lou right over the phone.
Right?
Um,
I
So what I could do,
The first
just
time
let
I
me
touched
know
the
whenever
computer
you're
was 2
free on
years ago.
Friday, and I'll show you some things, Joe.
Absolutely.
Okay.
3 years. ago.
Whenever you're free on Friday, because I ain't doing nothing Friday, I don't believe. But man, shout out to you guys for always showing me support. Y'all know y'all the day ones. Y'all come on this channel
Miz.
whenever y'all feel like it.
I'd love to do
I
that.
appreciate that. Let's get it. Thanks for
But-
having me on, bro.
I would love to do that.
I've been on here 3 hours and 15 minutes. I only planned on being on here an hour and a half. He
Just
said I have to go
remember.
study for my cryptoph. Good Lord.
Oh, nice.
Cryptocurrency. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, listen.
Tyler,
Just
Miss
remember this.
Olivia.
Goodness.
Just remember
This is
this,
how-
everybody. And I'm gonna end it with this. I'm gonna say bye to all of y'all.
Yeah,
11
here.
and 6. Back on my bullshit. 6 game win streak.
I'm
All right.
out too.
Man, I'm out,
I
man.
appreciate you.
Bye,
having me
Miss
on.
Olivia. Thank you for tuning in, man.
Yes,
Can't wait to
thank
work
you,
with
guys.
you.
Thanks.
But I'm
Thank
out,
you,
guys.
Pat.
All right. Y'all have a good one.